Welcome to the Anger Management Podcast, Season 2, Episode 4, Liam?
Yeah, I think it's 4.
Are we up to 4
or was
now?
it 3? We had Rich, Glyn, Bainesy. 4,
yeah,
yeah,
it's 4. We're
Jesus
struggling
Christ.
our way to 4 after a morning of arsing around with fucking equipment again, as usual. I've just noticed as well, something I did want to mention is I find myself, because I get a bit pent up when I'm doing this show.
Yeah.
Those of you watching on YouTube will be able to see that my hands start to get a bit clenchy,
A little bit.
like claws. And I noticed this when I was watching I was in the bath watching last week's episode. I just wanted to be in the bath and think about Vainsy.
Oh,
That's what it was.
bit weird.
And
I'm in the bath thinking about
I
Vainsy.
noticed it. Look, I'm doing it now. Look, my hands are
God.
getting like I'm agitated, like I'm about to
Should I
hit
move
a punch
over?
bag. Yeah,
Should I move
probably
over
go a little bit that way.
Oh, bloody hell. I'm a bit nervous now.
So it's episode 4, season 2. We have made it all this way. We have got one of Liam's friends. Liam has got friends.
Yes, believe it or not.
Actual real life
Well,
friends.
Not that far, maybe.
And
Oh,
we've
right,
got
I see.
the mighty Stoke-on-Trent's very own Joe Allen.
Yeah, not that one.
But it's not that
No,
one.
it's not that one.
It's not that one.
It's not that Wally Ed who plays for Stoke.
No.
It's the real Joe Allen.
It's the real one, not that poser, the Welsh Perlo, as they call him.
The Welsh
the
Pearl.
Welsh
The real
Perlo.
ones here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Stokey Perlo. You know what I mean?
So welcome, Joe. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you know this Wally.
Well, as I say, I'm from a quiet village called Warrington, which is just outside of Stoke.
It's never really been a village, Joe.
No,
I got to be honest. I used to live in Warrington.
Oh,
It's the outskirts of the city.
the outskirts of the
Calling
city.
it a village is you know how in New York,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Friends they say they live in the village.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really a village.
It's not. Well, it's like I have this debate all the time with people because it's like there's some confusion as to where Warrington is on the map. It's like I have some people say if I go to like Leek, for example, people say, "Oh, you're from Stoke." I was like, "No, I'm not from Stoke." And then I go into Stoke and say, "Oh, you're bloody Staffs Moreland, Joe." I was like, "Where the fuck are we?" Honestly, It's like,
I'm gonna say it's more Staffs Moreland. I'll give you that.
Nobody accepts us. It's just like we're just like a I don't know.
You're outcasts, really, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're not really city dwellers, but you're not really village
Do
folk.
you know Lord
You're
of
just
the,
outcasts.
It's the local
yeah,
people.
do you know Lord of the Rings, where he's on just at the Black Gates of Mordor, that
Yeah.
desert in between? That's Warrington.
Oh,
No,
right.
but
Yeah,
every wanders through. That's Warrington, pretty much. It's like it's there. It's just there.
It's the real life version of purgatory, really.
Yeah.
Is
It's
what
a
we're
lovely
saying.
place.
Oh, God,
It's a
no.
lovely place.
So Joe, what do you do? I know you've just been telling us off air that you've got a bit of a football injury at the moment. So I do know you're into your sport and your footy. What do you do with your life apart from guesting on the Anger Management Podcast?
well,
Obviously fulfilling a lifelong dream.
oh yeah. When Liam texted me saying, "Do you want to come on the podcast?" I was like, "Yes." Tick off the list.
That's it, bucket list.
The bucket list done now. I've got about 10, 20 more to go. More than that, but actually a lot more than that.
I'm about to
hopefully,
say, you're how old? 20?
25.
There
Oh,
you go.
God. No, I've got a lot more to do than that, mate. But yeah, so I currently work in a warehouse in Stoke as an FLT driver. It's not really my dream job, but it's
For those of you who've never really worked in the real world, that's forklift truck.
Yes.
By the way,
okay. Forklift truck. Apologies. Thank you.
it's all right, mate.
You get used to going. No, everybody just calls it FLT in work, and then you go outside saying, "Oh, I drive FLT." It's like, what the hell's that? And then-
To a lot of Star Trek followers, that's
Yeah.
faster than light travel.
Yeah.
But no,
yeah.
it is driving a forklift.
Yeah.
Beam
That's
me
what
up,
we
Joe.
mean.
No. Just say to him, yeah, I drive the Enterprise. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I drive the Enterprise.
My
that's
middle
what-
name's Sulu.
Yeah, Spock, whatever it is. No, but yeah, I work in a warehouse currently, like I say, on a forklift truck. I've been doing that for the last 8 months, taking 3 months out because I was off work because of my broken leg.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Tell us how that happened, Joe.
I feel like a bit of a tit saying this, actually. Well, what happened was...
You'll
I
get
did
ripped to shreds for this.
I promise you, whatever it is, I'll have hurt myself in some more shitty, ludicrous way.
Probably.
Right. So as I don't actually remember this. This is apparently what happened. I won a tackle of somebody, and I thought it was going up for a corner, and I thought I can get to that. So I sprinted for it full pelt. Went to go clear it, and what happened was the ball bobbled up. So I missed it, kicked myself, and went over, and I had a triple leg break.
Ooh, that's
Oh.
nice. That is,
That's
mate.
lovely, that is, yeah. And
Is that on your good leg or your bad leg?
I'll be bad leg, thankfully.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I won't be the Welsh. I won't be the Stokey Pearl if it was me right.
No,
leg.
no.
Yeah.
I suppose, fortunately, what did you say? You're 25.
25.
At 25, you'll probably make a full recovery from that.
Yeah.
Who do you play for, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I play for the same team as Liam, Burslem
Yeah.
United FC.
Mighty
Burslem
Burslem.
United.
Mighty
Shouts
Burslem.
out Burslem United.
I mean,
Burslem.
Liam, how much actual playing do you do for this club?
Well, I think I've played.
Is it like when you went on your fitness regime and ran to the
yeah,
bottom of
and
the
some
drive
backy, yeah.
and I added kind of Tennant super behind the edge?
You know
No,
it.
he's got a skirt on, bonbons going, ooh,
There,
go birds.
that's it,
There you
that's
go.
it.
Oh shit! I've been exposed here. I've been
it's a bird's
exposed.
the mascot.
No, I think I played 40 minutes in second half in a friendly, and I think
In what position?
left back.
Are you left-footed?
No, I'm right-footed.
Oh, right,
But I can't
okay.
use my left foot.
Okay.
And then the last game I played was for 10 minutes. We were about 18-0 down at that time, but still.
So it didn't matter.
No, it
Were
didn't
you one
matter.
of them where they bought you on just so you got a kick?
And then it was like, yeah, Liam, gives a tenner. You've come on. Oh, right, yeah, cheers, lads. I haven't been since.
No,
'Cause
I
I'm
mean we
shit.
can't all be good at football.
No,
Liam,
I
you
don't
know.
know. I'm not good at anything.
You're good at
to be
other
fair.
stuff like working for water companies.
And chatting shit on a podcast.
Yeah. So congratulations are in order. Liam has got a new job. Tell us a little
Yes.
bit about what's gone on, Liam.
Yes, obviously we're touching on the Lost podcast. I'd gone for a team leader role. Unfortunately, I didn't get that, but instead they had the bright idea of putting me into management. So now I'm in charge of a team, working in an office which is 10 minutes down the road, rather than 4 hours round trip
For a water company.
for a water company.
Right, okay. So
Because
after
no one-
all the bad mouthing we did of that water company that you were working for,
Fuck that company.
you've got you sent straight back into a water company.
hopefully a better water company.
Oh.
I'm saying season 3 will probably have a theme of Liam leaving his current water company and looking for another job.
Yeah, basically, watch this space. Watch
Wouldn't
this
surprise
space.
me at all.
No, not at all. But yeah,
So,
thanks anyway.
I wanted to start on something that obviously is to do with you, Joe, and it's the fact that your name's Joe Allen.
Oh, yeah, touching
I
that
mean, it
subject.
must do your fucking brain in round here with all these Stoke bloody nutters.
I could tell you
I mean,
several
fair
stories.
play. You know, I'm a Vale fan, as Liam knows. I
yeah.
don't know if you knew, Joe, but I'm a big Vale fan.
I can see
cre-
the scarf there.
Yeah, it's hanging up
Just
there.
if I start smoking in a bit, I'll
Yeah.
have to leave it.
I mean, credit to the Stoke supporters. They are a great group of supporters.
Yeah.
They are passionate fans and a good vocal group of supporters. But being called Joe Allen must do your brain in sometimes.
does
I mean,
my
it was like being
nutting.
called Gordon Banks or Mark Steen.
Yeah, it does my nutting all the time. It's like I remember when he first signed for the club. I went down to the tickets office. We were going to go on an away game. Who did we go for now? Went to Hull City away. Me and my brother decided to go to. And I get to the ticket office. And I was like, oh, can I have 2 tickets for the Hull away game? And he's like, yeah, sure, mate. What's your name? I'm like, I'll just hand him the ticket. And his eyes lit up as soon as he saw it. And he's like, oh, you're playing quite well at the moment, aren't you? I'm like,
Literally the
Oh
highlight
my
of his
God.
week.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, but you know that guy will have gone home and told his mum, you'll never guess who I served at ticket office. Who, love? Who? Joe Allen.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like that. I was like, but it's like
Fuck
it started off as a joke at first, but over the years it's just like, hey, Joe Allen's here. I'm like,
Oh.
You know what? I just want him signed for somebody
No,
else
I
now,
just-
please fucking
please.
leave
I'm
it
just
alone.
praying he'd leave this summer. Not because he's a bad player. I just think I just don't want it anymore than Joe Allen. But it's like recently I went down to the ticket office. What games now? Well, we played Crew pre-season. It's like a charity game for like one of the young academy players who'd had an accident, and so basically I go down there, and we didn't have like a new. They didn't have the new season cards out yet. You see.
Yeah.
Just trying to get you
Yeah.
talking to the
Okay.
microphone a little bit, mate.
Deep
Okay,
throated
no worries, matey.
microphone.
Oh, yeah, that's it, mate. It is fucking big, that is, honestly. Jesus Christ.
Thanks,
That's what
man.
she said. Where's the bell? Ding.
Ding. No, but I went down to the ticket office, right, and because like I said, they hadn't out the new cards yet, so it's like, right, what's your name, mate? And there was like 30 people around me,
Yeah.
and I just went, as soon as I said that, I went, fuck. And then I thought, I just went, quietly, Joe Allen. It's like,
Yeah,
what-
dead quiet, dead
and he's like, what's that, mate? And I went, Joe Allen. And he went, sorry, what's that, mate? And I went, Joe Allen. And everybody around was like, oh, Joe Allen's here. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
Oh.
Just,
Is
Just
it
leave me alone.
Yeah.
Leave me
There
alone.
are loads of people called Joe Allen.
Yeah,
I've never known anybody called Andrew Stevenson.
No.
I've never even heard of anyone called Andrew Stevenson until about 6 months ago, height of lockdown. I was actually friend requested on the mighty Facebook by a bloke called Andrew Stevenson,
No.
who turns out be a touring musician and audio producer. Yeah.
Was it your doppelganger?
No, he doesn't look anything like me. He's like tall and you know,
Handsome.
tall and handsome. Yeah, he doesn't look anything like me. He doesn't look like R2D2 like me. But yeah, same name, same job, same shit.
Wow.
And he's the only one I've ever met. So what about Liam Simcox?
No, same. No poor bastard here has had the name of Liam Simcox.
Literally the
There's
only
loads,
How it must have been a bit of a rough ride throughout the years, especially as a young man, having the name Cox in your name.
Yeah.
I can only imagine
Cox on his back.
there must have been some serious grief given out over the years regarding that, Liam.
My favourite was the Christmas cards that you used to get at school and things like that, and it was like Sim Cox, as in COCKS. And every time you ring up the bank or you're placing an order with somewhere, it's, hi, what's your name, love? And it's Liam Simcox. And then I have to go, SIMCOX. And she's like, sorry, can you just say that again? I'm like, for fuck's, how hard is this? and it just pisses me off. But yeah, I've had it all. I've heard it all.
Yeah,
Andy.
I mean, there can't be. It's a rough suffix to have, isn't it? Really. I mean, you could perhaps have Dick or something like that.
I feel sorry for
Liam Sim Dick.
Yeah, that's another one.
That might be a little bit worse.
It kind of reminds me of you watch like Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
Do the alien called Taserface? They keep laughing at his name.
Oh yeah.
But it's like your name, and it's like every time it says Liam Sim goes. Taserface.
I wanted to carry on with some topics that you'd put into our group chat, Joe, and that was touching on. We've had the sad passing of several people this week, including a well-known comedian, and I can't remember his name. What was his name?
Joe said it earlier. I'm saying
Sean Lock.
Sean Lock. That's it. Never particularly my cup of tea, but quite well known on the comedy circuit.
Yeah.
And Joe, you wanted to discuss how basically modern comedy is a bit shit.
It is crap, honestly.
But before he carries on, sorry, Joe, I've just got a pressing question.
Yes.
Are fart jokes funny?
Nothing.
Yes. Oh, you fuck off.
My drummer Gaz sent me a message last night, and it literally said, "Farts are the funniest thing in life, and will always will be." I hadn't badgered him into that. I just sent it me randomly, and I was like, "Yeah,
is this checking post?
Totally telling Liam about that tomorrow." But so modern comedy. I mean, I feel we're in a little bit of a situation where comedians' hands are basically fucking tied now, to the point where we're not really allowed to laugh at anything anymore. Oh, we can't take the piss out of each other. We can't take the piss out of a race or a gender or anything really.
No.
So where does modern comedy even go from here? Is it the fault of the comedians, Joe, or is it the fault of the situation we've created in society?
I don't know. I think a lot of it is, to me. It's a combination of both. I mean, we might just be on a bit of a blip in terms of comedy talent coming through, because you do have blips. I mean, everything has blips. Like in football, teams produce quality. Then they have a generation where they're not so good. So we might just be going through a blip. But I do think there is something what Andy says in that. I think the modern political sense, the woke culture is having an effect on it, because I love my classic British comedies. I love Only Fools and Horses. I love Red Dwarf. I love Only One Foot in the Grave. The Two Ronnies. Monty Python. Yeah. But I was watching some recently. I thought, you look back and some of the things they say they won't get away with nowadays. They'd be cancelled straight away.
Well, we were touching on this earlier, weren't we, Andy?
And it's like it's
I agree with you there, Joe. I think it's a sorry state of affairs that we've caused for ourselves, because comedy, by its very nature, is based upon the observation of things that are maybe a little bit different from the norm, right?
Yeah.
And once we stop being allowed to commentate on things that might be a little bit different from the norm, how can we possibly laugh at them, right? And just because we laugh at something doesn't mean that we hate it.
Yeah.
It quite the opposite a lot of the time. It actually means you can identify with it a little bit. I find nothing funnier than somebody taking the piss out of something that I identify with, right? So someone takes the piss out of the football club that you support. Someone takes the piss out of the fact that I'm only 5'6", right?
Or that your surname's Simcox.
Yeah, but to me, it's funny. That's funny. But we've created a situation now where you can't laugh at somebody. A man turns up in a dress, right? And that's funny. To me, that's funny, right? Yeah. I'm not judging the guy on whether he identifies as a woman or not. I don't care. But because it's not what you'd class as a normal part of society, a man wearing a dress, it's funny.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
guy's-
yeah. I
it's,
get
it's
you.
funny. Do you see what I mean?
I know what you mean.
And
yeah,
I'm not trying to judge the guy or anything, but that's funny, right? And I think that we really, really need to be careful where we go now, because comedy is going to die. Comedy will die out because we're already at a point where you can see it, Joe, in stand-up comedy now. And I like a lot of stand-up.
Yeah.
And it's got to the point where you can tell that the stand-up comedians are checking what they say.
Yeah, like conscious of what they're
Conscious of what they're saying, rather than just being able to say whatever the fuck they want to say. You can feel in their act that they've got to be careful. Yeah, because one wrong thing, you take the piss out of one wrong thing once, and the woke brigade won't give you a second chance.
No.
Cancel culture doesn't give you a second chance.
Doesn't know.
That's it. You're fucked.
You are
right?
fucked, yeah.
Your career and everything you've worked towards is fucked.
But what do you think that is, though, guys? Like, do you think it's this cancel culture bollocks? Like, we've touched on it before, like how toxic social media is. And it's just people behind keyboards. You know, you'll never meet them in your life, and they're saying, "Oh, you know, you shouldn't be saying this, you shouldn't be saying that." But yeah, if they walk past you in the street, they won't tell you to your face that you shouldn't make a joke about a man in a dress, or your surname, or you're named after a footballer or shit like that. It's just, and I completely agree with you, and it's horrible to see, because I think we'll see less and less comedians breaking through because they're scared of what they've got to say. They can't say this and they can't say that. And they'll have agents, I'm sure, and they'll come on before a gig and say, go on, say your material, but don't mention this or don't mention that. And it's like, your hands are tied, you know, and I'm sure, like, Andy as an entertainer and as a musician and stuff like that, you wouldn't want to go out there and do a gig with your hands tied.
Well, I'm in a position, Liam, that's very apt to what you've just said. I'm in a position where I actually have to think about which songs I'm playing when I go out and play a covers show.
Yeah.
I have to think about which songs I'm playing, and certain songs I actually have to introduce in a specific way, just in case anybody gets offended. So I'll give you a perfect example. I play Lola by the Kinks.
Oh, the Kinks, yeah.
Lola's written about a transvestite that one of the band members, I don't know which one, I can't remember, one of the band members came across. It's an experience of his. And the song is actually about how it doesn't matter what somebody, and this is from back in the 60s, remember, and most people, even back in the 60s, didn't give a fuck if a bloke wants to pretend he's a woman. It doesn't matter, right? I have to actually go through the rigmarole of introducing this song. That particular song always reminds me of my friend Quinn. Shout out Quinn if he's listening. And Quinn does a drag act, right? He used to back in the day. And that's how I met him. He's a big 6'4", great big, built like a brick shithouse. Quinn is, but that was his act. And the first time I met Quinn, he was singing Lola, dressed as a woman.
Fair
and
play.
He's become a really, really close friend of mine. We do a lot of work together in the music scene. And he does a lot for the music scene across the city, Quinn does. So again, shout out to Quinn. And that song always reminds me of Quinn when I play it. But I actually have to tell my clients before the week before I do the gig, I play this song. Is that okay? I've got to run it by them. And then before I play it, introduce it and tell the story that I've just told you guys. Because many people hear the words, the lyrics that are in it, and instantly go, oh, well, that's homophobic or whatever it is. And it couldn't be further from the truth. It's the other way. But because you're actually singing about that issue, they instantly think that oh, well, it must be homophobic and you must be a scumbag.
This is a song that was made like 50, 60 years ago. So why is it all of a sudden now in 2021 a problem?
Well, there you go. But we are in a society that's pulling down statues of people who were around 200 years ago. So you know, it's crazy. But getting back to the original point, the original topic that Joe wanted to talk about, I'm not sure where comedy goes from this point. Because for me, all comedy has always been partly based on taking the piss out of groups of people.
It's outrageous. Comedy for me should be in a way outrageous.
Of course it should.
It's like, because it's like, the one thing I've noticed now, it's just like, because I remember like, it's just me in the last decade or so, from like 2010 onwards, that I've noticed a decline. It's just like, because I'm not just talking about stand-up, I'm talking about like comedy shows in general.
Like on TV and stuff.
Yeah,
as well,
the last genuine great one that I remember was probably The Inbetweeners. That was outrageous and it was funny.
Fantastic,
Absolutely
fantastic.
That was the last one.
And
that
of
I think
course,
was...
offensive.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
But
thing, yeah.
comedy is by its very nature
Yeah.
offensive.
But since that, I generally, because I do like what's it one Friday Night Dinner. I do find that funny, but not in an outrageous sense. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's got I do like it a lot. Don't get me wrong, but it's a bit more mild humour. Do you know what I mean? And it's but as for the rest of it, I just don't. It's just like, because I look at, but going back to the decade before, you had Mock the Week in its prime, when, like, say, Frankie Boyle was
I'm about
on.
to say Frankie Boyle's a prime example, though, isn't
Yeah.
he? He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He's not, but he couldn't say that now for whatever reason. And it's
Look at Jimmy Carr, for example.
Yeah.
It's like I went to see him at the Victoria Hall 2 years ago, I think, 2018, so about 2.5, 3 years ago, something like that. And it was, and honestly, given what he was doing, he's on telly. He's doing stuff at the Victoria Hall now, and now decent venue the Victoria Hall is, but it's tiny compared to what what he's probably compared to do in the past.
Yeah,
and it's just like, is it just because? And I just sat there thinking. Now I sat there thinking some of the stuff he says, he does go over the line a lot.
Yeah.
But I find it funny, and there's some people that would like, oh no, that's too far for me. I'm like, okay, fair enough, but I like that. And I'm like, but it's just how far he's gone down. I'm not saying he has gone down because he's still on telly, but the size of the venues he's doing now compared to what he was doing, am I? Is that because of political correctness or?
Exactly.
Exactly,
You have
Joe.
to sit
That's a good
there and
point.
you think, well, how much of this is due to just general popularity, and how much is to do with how hamstrung is his act?
Yeah.
When your act is based upon offending folk, and now we're in a society where we're being threatened with imprisonment for offending folk, and people are actually having their lives and careers ruined for offending somebody.
Yeah.
Then you have to think, well, how does an act like that survive?
It's like these people that go to a comedy club, and you're going to get roasted if you go to a comedy club. In any comedy club you've been, it happens. You see it all the time. And I've seen people, like, on social media go to a comedy club, and then they'll complain.
Complain about having a piss taken out
and I'm
of
like,
them.
you're in a fucking comedy club.
I went to the comedy club in Manchester for my birthday years ago. My ex-girlfriend took me. I can't remember the comedian's name that I saw. He was fantastic. He was relatively unknown, and I was front and centre. My missus at the time got me seats for my birthday, and from the minute he walked on the stage, he was just ripping the fucking shit out of me. Ripping me to bits, he was. He asked me what I did, and I'd seen one of the bolts on the stage wasn't quite tightened properly, and it was bugging me. Obviously, I'm from a stage production background. And that was it then. He was on stage for about an hour, and he just kept talking about this bolt all the time, this bolt and this nut that wasn't tight, just ripping the piss out of me. But it was great, because that's why you're there, isn't it? You're there to have the piss taken out of you.
Exactly.
And I just feel the world needs to accept that having the piss taken out of you isn't somebody offending you. It isn't somebody being personal. It's having the piss taken out of you. So stop crying into your fucking cup of tea, right? Stop being such a tart.
Oh, no,
I mean, I'm sure that most of the people that listen to the Anger Management podcast understand that we don't give a fuck about your feelings, really. We don't.
No,
we don't care.
Don't give a fuck.
If you like the Anger Management podcast, you can always buy us a brew, Liam.
Yeah.
If you don't, you can turn it off.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Simple
Complain to who you want, but if you're a woke bastard, we don't want you listening to us anyway. You can go fuck yourself.
And you might listen to us and think, you know what, actually, he's got a point. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing that. It's like, just get outside.
Just go away. Get in the sea. We don't want you. But if you have got a sense of humour and you do like taking the piss, then the Anger Management podcast is the place for you. You want to buy us a brew, Liam will tell you where you can do that.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
You can find us in the link tree down below wherever you listen to this, on Spotify, Google, or you're watching our handsome mugs on YouTube. You can find us in the link. You can donate in any way, shape, or form. 100% of your donation goes towards supporting the podcast. Obviously, with
100. I thought you said 100% of your donation goes to drugs. Then that's what I thought you said. 100% of your donation goes to drugs.
That's later. Anyway, just got something up my nose.
It does genuinely go back into the podcast, guys.
Yeah.
We don't just go down the pub and rinse it.
And obviously, like I say, we bought these fantastic microphones, and this helped build this studio. Well, not build.
Paid thousands to get Joe Allen on.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, mate, commission, mate. That's it.
know, he's part of Make-A-Wish Foundation, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Yes. What are you dying from, Liam?
Liam,
Being a shit footballer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Liam,
you can't die from that.
A couple of weeks ago, we had a gentleman featured on the podcast called Pennan Brae.
Oh, yes.
I've had some correspondence with Pennan since. Lovely chap. Absolutely sound as a pound. Vancouver, if you remember.
Yes.
A gentleman from
Across
Vancouver. I liked Pennan that much as a bloke and his music that we're going to have another track.
Sounds good to me.
We're going to have another Pennan Brae track. Those of you who are interested, Pennan is on all the usual platforms, all the usual social media platforms and streaming platforms where you can check out his music. The song we're going to feature today is called Passing Fad. Now, I haven't actually listened to this, but I'm expecting it to be awesome, just like last time.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a little listen. This is Pennan Brae, guys. Check him out. Passing Fad. Let's have a listen.
Let's do it.
accepted. Build a diversion, I was sidestepping. Sound the warning, there was no heeding. Pressing onwards, was no succeeding. Glass the throttle, gripping bionic. Approaching Mach 1, hit supersonic. Sails is breaking, here but don't see me. Soon I'll be long gone, jet forth and set free.
Welcome back to the Anger Management Podcast with me, Andy Stevenson.
William Simcox.
And Joseph Allen, but not that one.
The real Joe Allen.
The original.
That was Pennan Brae, and yet again, I thought that was an absolutely class tune, lads.
Yeah, it was good, that.
Yeah, good that was,
Pennan,
that.
all the way from Vancouver, as we know. Song was called Passing Fad. It reminded me of Coffee and TV by Blur.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sure if Pennan will be a Blur fan or not, with them being an English band, but Pennan, check out Blur and check out Coffee and TV, because that's what you remind me of with that song.
Britpop Resurgence happening on Anger Management Podcast.
There you go.
First,
There we
that's
go.
it.
How much are we paying Joe for this? he's plugging us away. I like
Plugging
it.
away.
I like
Always
it.
a bit of plugging.
I like it.
So yeah, that's Pennan Brae, guys. Check him out in all the usual places: Spotify, Apple Music, blah blah blah.
The
He's on
usual,
all these
basically,
social media
guys.
platforms, and get on there and give him a like and a subscribe and a bell ding,
Ding,
or
I don't fucking
whatever
know.
it is. Just get out there and check him out, because he's a really nice dude and an excellent musician. So thanks for sending us that again, Pennan, and I'm sure
Cheers,
we'll
Pennan.
be in touch with you again soon. So, lads. There's plenty more to talk about.
Oh, I've got a lot to talk about.
After our comedy is shit, I wanted to come to Liam's topic
Yeah.
that he sent the other day, and it was how you get aggravated by flavour of the month social media
Oh,
gimmicks.
it fucks
Tell
me
us a
off.
little
Bullshit.
bit more, Liam.
It's just like no one gives a shit for 11 months a year, and then something bad happens, like a celebrity dies or there's a trend or something like that, and then suddenly everyone and the fucking dog is doing it. You know, like
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
when Caroline Flack died, and then all of a sudden there was this Be Kind movement, this quoted, and then a few weeks later we had all these riots going off, and then everyone hated each other. So it was like, you know, are you just
So the one from the week before becomes irrelevant,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
no one
So
gives a
it-
fuck
yeah,
anymore.
and it's just like, do you genuinely mean what you're saying, or is it just because it's the flavour of the month and you want to get your likes and your shares and everything like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
on social media?
So
And I just don't buy it.
one I remember is people tipping buckets of water over each other
Yeah,
a few
yeah.
years
I did
back.
that myself, yeah.
What that you
Yeah.
did that?
I did that.
Doors there, mate.
I was at the time when I did it. I was
Gay.
how dare you? I was. Oh God, when did I do it? When did this happen? That fab. When I did it, it was like 2015. So I was very young and naive.
There's only a kipper back then.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it now. Don't worry. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, looking back, it was stupid. It's
Yeah.
like it's just like.
Well, it was completely retarded.
It was,
I mean, what was it all about? It was people attention seeking.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
it boiled down
But
to.
you've got to get them likes, Andy. You've got to get them shares.
I'm not
And
gonna-
I used to sit there
I'm not
and
gonna
think.
deny it.
I used to sit there and think. So you've spent your day planning this. You're sitting there in your pants, and someone's tipping a cold bucket of water on you.
Well done.
This is what society is boiled down to, has it?
Yeah, but you know what?
In 2018 or
You-
whatever
you
it
know
was
what
at the time.
bugs me though, Andy, and this is a personal gripe, is I will see shit on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook. People with no talent, like there is a girl on TikTok and she just pulls faces, right? And she gets millions and millions and millions of likes and comments and things like that. And there's people like us that put time, effort, passion into what we do. We don't get fuck all.
Yeah, no one gives a flying
No one gives
fuck.
a flying fuck, but
Yeah.
because it's an
No.
attractive girl, like pulling a face, millions of
yeah.
views, it just throw money at you.
So
You know?
the one at the moment is it something to do with my missus had to explain this to me, and I keep seeing these things that say do something with your third
Oh,
act
fuck
or
it.
something like that. So
yes, yeah.
please
Oh.
explain a little bit what that's
I know
all
what
about.
that is. So, like, it'll be a picture of a chair covered in glass, and it'll be like, would you kiss your second act or sit on this chair? And, like, all you do is put at into the comments, and it comes up with people's names. So, like, you
Oh,
could
right, okay.
tag your missus or whoever it may be.
But it does that randomly, so it could be
randomly,
anybody.
so it could be your best mate from high school.
So
and-
it could be like, if you follow the leader of the
Yeah, yeah,
Taliban,
yeah,
it could be him.
you know.
Who, by the way, it's perfectly fine for him to have a Facebook and YouTube account, by the way.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. Donald Trump can't have one.
But he can.
But the
But
leader
he
of the
can,
Taliban, that's
And
fine.
I completely agree with you,
But
Andy.
I'm going off on a tangent
It's
there,
fucking
sorry.
it's
Yeah.
shit though, and I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. No one gives a fuck. Like, would you kick your fourth act in this tornado for $4 billion? I'd be like,
so
the
it's
fuck is
just
this?
another faddy
It's just
load
shit,
of
yeah.
toss.
And then you see people commenting, and it's like, oh my God, Jamie, I'd kick you in this tornado for $4 billion. And I'm, get in the sea, just fuck
People
off.
literally haven't
I
got
like the
anything
serial
better to
killer
do.
voice, Liam.
Yeah, thanks.
Serial
thanks.
killer voice. That's very disturbing. Not
Get
so.
in the sea,
People literally haven't got anything better to
But
do with
it's
the time.
a flavour of the month thing. It's a facade, and it's just bullshit. And I'm just like, is this what we've been reduced to, like ice bucket challenges or shitty TikTok trends or whatever?
Do you think it's just because people are bored with life? Because life is a lot more boring than it was 20
Yeah.
years ago.
People want to be
Back
seen.
in the 90s.
People want to be seen.
Like Joe's just said, yeah, and it's all this attention seeking and wanting to be famous, and it's just narcissistic bullshit. Like,
One thing I have with social media, I don't mind, because I know I've got some people that, for example, suffer with mental health.
yeah,
And they will constantly campaign about it on social media.
yeah. Which
I
is
can
fair
respect that.
Yeah, of course,
But
yeah,
I
I can
can't stand
understand that.
people that kind of like jump on the fads, like you're saying. It's just like, I know several people, they'll be like, someone will come up like, oh, be kind. They'll share something about it.
Yeah.
Then as soon as the next thing comes along, like, I don't know, let's say Black Lives Matter, they'll share something about that, but never discuss it again in their entire life.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
don't you think,
People
Joe,
like that wind me up.
don't you think, Joe, that it's because 90% of people have no actual clue or understanding of the stuff that they're sharing on social
Yeah.
media at all? They see something and think,
Definitely.
that'll get me some likes.
Yeah, I'll jump on that bandwagon.
I'll jump on that bandwagon. I'll jump on that bandwagon because that will get
on.
me attention. Because social media, by its very nature, is attention. It's
Yeah,
an
yeah,
attention-seeking vehicle. That's all it's for. And I freely admit I use social media for my business. Right, my business is based in entertainment. Right, so the whole nature of my business is to garner attention. As a musician, as a podcaster, as an audio producer, I have to get attention to get bookings,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's
So-
your product, isn't it? And you're
exactly.
promoting that product.
But what I
yeah.
don't do is try and get attention from my personal life. And I've always said if I didn't do what I do for a living, I'd have no reason to have social media. I wouldn't have it. I'd throw my phone in the river.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
many times have I said that over the
Anytime.
years, Liam?
Yeah.
And I feel that these people who maybe, I don't know, you work in a call center, I'm not going to mock anybody's job. Whatever anybody does is fine. If you go to work and earn a living, you're fine by me. But do these people sort of think that they deserve a slice of the world's attention, even though they've got nothing in their lives worth being attentive of?
Yeah.
So you go
Got
work,
no
I don't know,
talent or
you go work at Bet365, you work in an office, you come home and you think, right, I need some attention off people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip a bucket of cold water over my head, right? Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
kind of
It's
what's
true,
going
it's true,
on.
yeah, it is, yeah.
Or I'm going to see whatever the flavour of the week is. So it might be Black Lives Matter or it might be kind, and I'm going to post some shit about that. I'm going to post some shit about Black Lives Matter, even though I don't know anything about the actual organisation of Black
Exactly.
Lives
What
Matter.
it's about or anything.
Because I know if I put it there, I'll get some attention.
Yeah.
It might be positive, it
Not
might be
wrong.
negative. And the other thing that really, really gets me is when I make a post, I very rarely share things
Yeah.
on social media. I'm not unless it's something funny.
Yeah,
right? I like
yeah,
to
yeah.
share me funny stuff, but I don't usually share political things because
No, I don't.
I like to. I suppose I'm fortunate because I've got quite an eloquent way of putting things in the written word.
Yeah.
Because it's what my background is. When I went to university, it wasn't for music; it was for English. So I like to write my own opinion and thoughts in my own words.
Yeah.
And you've got me on
Yeah, I
Facebook,
have,
Liam.
yeah.
You know, I when I post something, it's usually my words. It's my opinion, and I've formulated that opinion and put that into the written word. What I don't do is just take somebody else's post and
Yeah,
slap it
yeah.
on my wall and go,
No.
there you go, that'll get me some attention.
Yeah,
Because it's bone stinking idle at the
It
end of
is.
the day. It's bone stinking idle. And you when you're just reposting something like that, you usually don't know what you're talking about
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
So again, it just boils down to its attention yet again.
Yeah.
But what bugs me though, Andy, is like they'll come up with like these things like you said, like Be Kind or Black Lives Matter, and they're fighting for equality and like, equal race, things like that. Where were they other 364 days a year? Why weren't they fighting for this 5 months ago? Why weren't they fighting for this yesterday?
That's what gets
Why
me
has
as well.
it took something that,
catastrophic.
or other side of the world that's happened, then all of a sudden everyone's aficionado for fucking racism or...
Well, what's happened? One thing that aches me. What about what's happened with Palestine? Because that was a big thing a few months ago,
exactly.
wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, you don't hear about it now.
People
though,
aren't
do you?
bothered about that now.
Yeah,
though.
it's like it was a fad for like 2 weeks, and it's just
Exactly.
it solved itself all of a sudden. It's like, well,
it's still exactly the
Yeah,
same
it's still-
shit
yeah.
going on down there.
It's just like if you're gonna.
But all the Sharons have moved on, I'm afraid. All the Sharons have moved on to something else, which brings me directly onto a topic I wanted to discuss, which is something that kills me every time I see it. And I see this on a regular basis, again, on social media. And it's not always women, sometimes men as well. But I'm going to say probably a 75-25 split. It's women who declare their undying love for a new boyfriend on social media.
Oh,
right?
my God.
And you get
hate
something along the lines of, when you found your soulmate, you just know.
Oh, fuck it.
Oh,
Then
sake.
literally
Oh, no,
2
no,
weeks
no.
later,
Split
you spend 3 weeks seeing pictures of romantic candlelit dinners
It's
and
usually black and
walks
white
along the
photos.
beach, black and white photos. Everything's amazing, and then all of a sudden it turns out that this perfect soulmate was actually an ex-con transvestite who was secretly married to their own brother.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it all disappears, and you sit there and you're like, what happened to that soulmate? of
I
yours?
fucking hate
that soulmate,
bullshit
that
like
2 week soulmate.
But you know what gets me is
I
like...
got milk in my fridge. I've had longer relationships with.
It's there's so
Not
many.
a relationship with your milk, can
I pinch that off friends.
There's so many people like that nowadays. Because like, there's a girl who lives near my neck of the woods. Won't give out her name, obviously, but it's like
She live in the village.
She does live in the village. The
called
village
Sharon.
of Warrington.
The village of Warrington, and literally. I do know her. I do know her from. She's like a few years older than me and that, but I do know her personally.
Do you know her?
I do know her. Yeah, don't worry.
Like know her?
Not in that way, no.
Oh, yeah, it's just how you said personally. I was he knows her.
But she's literally like she's engaged. She's like engaged with a different bloke every single year.
Oh, no, fuck that.
And I'm like, sure to God, blokes.
Liam's a one-man man.
I am.
Sure to God.
One-man man.
Sure-
One woman man.
Sure to God, people look at her and think. Blokes look around and think there's something dodgy there. You're not. Most people aren't engaged every single year to someone else. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah,
like,
no,
why-
what fucks me off, Joey, is these people that put like new profile picture on Facebook and they're like, my world or my baby and a loads of shit ton of emojis, and then underneath comments will be the guy or the woman that's like, love you so much, baby. Kiss, 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 kiss. Oh, you're so amazing. You're absolutely gorgeous. I'm so happy to have you. And I just think, fuck.
It brings us back
off.
to a few episodes ago, Liam, when we were talking about why can't you just turn to the person and tell them that, you know. You don't have to put it on social. You can turn to your missus or your fella or whatever, and you can like literally move your head and go, so pretty you
exactly,
are.
Yeah, I think
so
I think
lovely
it was
you are,
Fee
babe.
when we had Fee on, weren't it? And like, and on the flip side of that as well, there'll be people that are struggling. There'll be people with a mental health and things like that. And they'll put it on Facebook, but yet they'll be in room with the wife, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, husband, whoever it may be, and just like go and give him a cuddle or give her a love and like make him a brew and give him a kiss and tell him everything's going to be all right.
Because it's all about attention.
Exactly.
That's the only
Attention.
word that matters is attention. So these people aren't actually meeting the soulmate. They don't believe it themselves.
fuck?
What they want to do is live some crazy episode of Love Island, right? That I have come to understand what that program is over the last few weeks. I haven't
I've
watched
never watched it.
but
Never
I
will do.
actually did a little bit of research about what it was because everyone was rabbiting on about it. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. But if any of you listeners watch that pile of crap, you are an absolute muppet. Do you watch it?
Sorry, Andy.
You watch it.
You
Sorry,
what?
Andy. Sorry, guys.
You watch
Oh
it.
my
Yeah, I do
God.
watch it, yeah.
I'm not sure we can continue this
I'm not sure.
podcast.
You watch
yeah.
Love Island? I mean, what the hell's wrong with you, honestly?
I need help, boys.
Is this something that you sit down in your own time and watch?
No,
or
no,
is
no,
this because your missus makes you watch
yeah,
it?
basically, yeah.
Well, that's even worse.
I know, but
No,
just say-
that's worse. That doesn't get you off.
I know it doesn't,
Right?
but
That's worse, Liam. So you're watching one of the biggest piles of shit ever made because your missus is making you watch it.
Oh,
Gun
my
to my
Oh,
head.
mate,
God.
honestly.
Liam, the NHS does have like a mental health system.
Cheers, Joe.
I think the NHS also reattaches your scrotum
Just-
mate,
yeah,
when you
yeah.
when you need it.
Chop these balls off. Hang on.
Wow.
Just rip them off. But on
Lobotomy might be too far
yeah,
for that, but
I'm never going to live this down, to be honest. But one thing that bugs me, like touching on that, is all the people that
Now, anything you say from now on, just
No,
is
I can't take
hollow.
you seriously now.
Sorry, mate.
is all the people that
I'm just gonna
No,
I'm
no,
just
no.
gonna go.
Hang on,
No,
I'm
no,
getting-
sorry, mate.
I'm just
no.
gonna go. Every time you talk now, I'm just gonna go. Like that.
Yeah. Every time he says anything pisses him off, I'm just going to be thinking, you watch Love Island, mate.
you
I
don't have
can't
an
take you seriously
opinion.
now.
Your surname's Simcox. Fuck off.
Come on then,
But
mate.
yeah,
Go on,
sorry.
go.
So when
like-
you were watching Love Island that time,
yeah, cheers, Andy.
Yeah.
And it's these people that
go on Love Island.
that
Yeah.
die from it, that
sorry.
commit suicide after being cheers,
On
guys.
Love Island.
I love you too. And then like they'll just die, they'll commit suicide, and then all of a sudden, like you say, it comes back to that be kind movement, or oh my God, thoughts and prayers with her family, and I'm like, you didn't give a shit about him before, and then he's
Oh, yeah,
committed
yeah,
suicide, or she's committed suicide, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
they jump
Gone
on
on
it.
Love Island.
yeah, you're best friends. So
On Love
word
Island.
of advice, guys. Don't go on Love Island. And secondly, don't watch it.
Don't
watch
watch
it,
it. Liam, I'm not sure how we can be friends after
Don't be
that
like Andy.
revelation,
Don't be
mate.
like that, Andy. Come on.
Like, I mean, there's bad
I can
programs to
feel-
watch.
I can feel the
I mean, X
disgust.
Factor and stuff like that is bad enough, but Love,
Oh my
honestly, mate, honestly.
And then there's
I
a-
would judge you less if you still watch the Teletubbies at your
Me
age.
too,
but
I'd be
yeah,
fine with that.
Yeah, yeah,
For
but Love
Teletubbies,
Island.
I'd be fine.
Now you said that, Joe. No, I don't watch that. I'm trying to like get myself out of it, but no. But there's
But you do watch Love Island.
that can be a topic for another time. Is garbage television? Love Island could be on there, of course, and because I could talk all day about Love Island and how shit it is. But yes,
But you still watch it.
You
Yeah,
still
yeah,
watch it.
I need help,
I-
boys.
I-
I think I need
I'm
help.
not sure on this, Joe. Do you think his missus makes him watch this? I think he might be telling us
I'm
porkies
not
here.
sure, actually. I think he secretly loves it.
Friend of
I
mine-
think
friend of
his
mine
missus
listening.
might go off to work
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he sits there and watches them morons frolicking about and
Yeah.
that.
He's probably
Liam, wow.
For anyone watching,
Wow.
He's got like a cardboard cutout of his missus, probably. Sits with him, watching Love Island, when he's thinking, yeah, she's here with me, don't worry.
a mouth's a bit sticky, but that's a bit.
Oh.
Oh, cheesy.
Anyway, on that note, it brings me to something that I wanted to discuss.
Not Love
Again,
Island,
I'm
is it?
not
Oh, for
sure.
fuck's
I'm not
sake.
sure how I'm going to take anything you ever say again seriously.
Sorry.
But it's the phenomenon of men who decide to claim that the best thing the best day of their lives,
Oh.
the best thing that's ever happened to them is either getting married
or having a kid.
or the kid being
oh,
born.
fuck!
Right?
I'm here for this.
Now
all day.
I've got two children and I'm married, right? And don't get me wrong, getting married was a great day. It was sound. I love getting married to my missus. We were in Las Vegas. I've touched upon this on the
This
radio
is a good
and on
story. I do
the
like this
podcast.
story.
And I've never been married before. I'm 40 years old. I was 37 when I got married. It's our wedding anniversary in just a few days. And
Congratulations.
thanks,
Congratulations,
man. Still haven't killed each other,
No,
so
I'm
we're
about to say,
doing well.
Well done.
So
You don't watch Love Island, that's why.
well, yeah, basically. and you know, the weird thing is, neither does my missus because she's got more balls than Liam.
Oh my
Wow.
God, no.
That's
no,
impressive.
no.
Amazing, mate.
Sorry, carry on, Andy.
So anyway, I went to Las Vegas to get married with my missus. We invited nobody. We told nobody about it, so no one could stick their oar in, right? I didn't have to pay hundreds of
Stupid money.
pounds for a load of twats I don't even like to eat the tea,
Yeah.
right? I didn't. It was great, and then we
Yeah.
travelled around America for a month, and it was mint, just me and my wife, and it was awesome, right? My wedding day was mint. Yeah, it was great. Honestly, it was sound. It wasn't the greatest day I've ever had in my life. I'd just be lying,
Yeah.
right? It was mint. I'm glad I get to spend the rest of my life with my missus,
Yeah.
but I'd just be lying to you
Yeah.
if I. And I'm sorry, guys, and any of you people that are listening or watching, and any of you blokes that claim that your wedding day is the best day of your life, well, you've lived a fucking shit,
Shit life, yeah.
You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
really
Sheltered, yeah.
had a
Boring.
shit paper round. You really have. Because that's bollocks, right?
Yeah, it's bollocks, yeah.
And I've got 2 children, right? And don't get me wrong, the miracle of childbirth, right? It's amazing, but it's also the most disgusting fucking thing you'll ever see in your life.
Oh,
It's
God. I don't want to see it.
absolutely fucking yeet,
I'm
right?
Oh, God.
And I love both my children. I've got a 9-year-old and a 21-year-old, right? My kids are ace, right? But them being born isn't the best day of my life, right? It's not. And I love my children, don't get me wrong. I've had many, many better days doing stuff with my son or doing stuff with my daughter than the day they were born. It was a day of blood, guts, screaming, and general minginess. No sleep, tiredness, Mrs. being horrible. Right? It was just grim. It wasn't a nice day at all. And yeah, you get a little bundle of joy at the end, but it's sort of like going to Alton Towers and queuing up for the corkscrew or whatever ride that the corkscrew's not even there anymore. We're not. I'm older than you guys, so Oblivion or whatever it is now, and the ride's good. But you know you've queued up for 3 hours just to fucking ride it, and it's it was okay, but I'd rather have been doing something else, really.
What is
my son had the good decency to be born at half-time during the Man United-Barcelona semi-final in 2012. Or maybe quarter-final, I can't remember. And I literally popped in, he was born, and then I popped back out and watched the second half. And that was great. But for me, I can't deal with it when these guys are like, wedding day, best day of my life. And I go, bullshit. That's bullshit, mate. That's bollocks, right? There's just me and you here now, right? So you don't have to lie. Mrs. isn't here, right? Tell me what your actual favourite day is.
It was when David Beckham scored that goal against Greece in 2004.
That's actually my favourite day. I've already discussed this with you, haven't I?
Yeah. That free kick.
It wasn't 2004, it was 2001, mate.
Oh, I know.
Against
but
Greece.
You get what I'm saying.
That's the most chuffed I've ever been in my life. That's the greatest day. For me, that was my greatest day. Everything was just great about that. I was chuffed, right? It wasn't the day I got married.
Yeah.
It was a mint day. It was a mint month when I got married, right? But I've had things like playing in cup finals, right? Better days for me. Playing big gigs.
Definitely.
When I've played at big gigs in front of thousands of people, better day, right? I've had days where, I've just been out on my motorbike in the sun, right?
That's been
and just rode round. That's a great day.
What would you say to people listening to us right now or watching us right now that disagree with you? That like, my best day.
Well, you're lying.
You're
lying to yourself.
Yeah.
You're lying to yourself. As a man, I can't speak as a woman because I believe that a wedding day means a lot more to a woman than it does to a man.
You don't identify as a woman then, or
no, I don't.
Or a wheelie bin, or a giraffe,
or a Love Island watcher. No,
I
don't.
No.
So. I believe, and I think that's right. I think that the day of marriage, the wedding day, is a big deal for ladies. I do. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm cool with that. It's a big thing. Women, or a lot of women, not all women, obviously. I'm making a generalisation here. A lot of women think about the wedding day since they're little kids.
Yeah.
Right. I thought about my wedding day the day I woke up in Vegas and realised we were late getting to the the little white chapel. That's the first time I started thinking about it. Right.
It's not something like I think I completely agree, Andy, and I think it's something that men don't really care about, to be honest.
No, if we were honest,
I'm more excited to watch a football match than I am to get married.
Exactly. Now, this isn't saying that if you decided to get married to your Mrs. Liam, I'm not saying that you wouldn't be excited to get married and looking forward to it or anything like that.
Does this mean I've got to watch Love Island for the rest of my life?
I think you'll do that anyway.
You'll do that. You'll do that.
You've already made that decision.
I've dug that grave.
But I think that you'd be excited to get married.
Yeah.
I was myself, but. I literally didn't. My missus got me what I'd got to wear. I just think for most men, it's a case of, right, be there at 10 o'clock wearing this, right? And that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
really,
I get what you're saying.
I can't say I ever had much. I was looking forward to getting married and then spending the rest of my life with my missus.
Do you think
making a life with my missus? One day. One single day didn't really. It was neither here nor there to me. I'm not really fussed about it, and I think men who sit there and say that the wedding day was the best day of their life.
I think it's okay for women to say it though. Like,
yes.
Do you think you're
I think it is a best day for many women. Would be the best day of their lives.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
I think, and again, childbirth's another one.
Yeah.
I imagine for a lot of women, it's the best and worst day of their lives.
Oh yeah.
It must be, but for a man. you know, we're surplus to requirements, really, aren't we? In fact, if we're honest, 9 months before we were surplus to requirements.
We're just a tool, aren't
right?
we? That's it.
And I just feel that these guys who sit there and go, oh, yeah, the best day of my life. Or you see the wedding anniversary pictures on social media. 5 years ago today, the greatest day of my life. And I sit there and I'm like, you sad fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
You sad fucking bastard. Either you're full of bollocks, right? Or you've lived the saddest life in history. You're just telling fibs.
Yeah, but like say, you look at women's like posts and stuff like that. 4 years since the happiest day of my life. That's acceptable.
Yeah, I get it.
That's acceptable. But like men,
nah.
No.
4 years since I married the love of my life. It's like, come on.
I know what Liam. I reckon we get Liam the best day of his life. We can start like a petition game on Love Island.
Get him on Love Island. Yeah.
See all these tan lads with six-packs and six-packs.
Do
And
you
get the keg out.
Do you know what, Joe? I think I'd watch it if Liam was on.
I would as well, yeah.
That's it. Liam Simcox for Love Island 2023.
Just with these dour Yorkshire accent, and then he's just like, oh, well, you're cheating on this person. He just goes, oh, fuck off, and walks off.
Now then.
Oh,
do.
On that note, we're going to move on to the next song. We're just going to play the theme to Love Island, I think, and let Liam stand in the corner with his pants down. So sad. So sad.
God.
Anyway, we'll be making an announcement looking for a new presenter in the upcoming episodes. Terrible, mate. Terrible. We're going to move on and have another song. It's another band we've featured before called The Petal Falls. Another great band. It was probably... I can't even remember.
Last season.
I think it was probably last season that we had the Petal Falls on. We're going to feature one more song by the Petal Falls. I did have some blurb, but I can't find it at the moment, so I'm just going to have to tell you what the song's called.
We are prepared.
Well, yeah, we've had a struggle this morning thanks to some equipment malfunctions, but it's going all right so far. Camera hasn't shut off. The Decepticons haven't hacked into the stream.
The Decepticons.
So
that was a very scarily accurate voice, Liam.
We will get to that shortly.
Well.
So we're gonna play a song called "Working All Night, Working All Day" by the Petal Falls, and I know this is available to listen to on streaming platforms at the moment because I have listened to it. It's a cracking tune. The Petal Falls. Check it out, guys. We'll be back presently.
These streets where I was born, they've not changed in all this time. Still stricken with an illness caused by poverty and crime. For some there's no escape, and it's more than they can bear. They waste their lives in tragedy, the truth is no one cares. Written on these faces like graffiti on a wall. Is this the best that I can be? There's so much more I can achieve. All they needed was a guiding hand to help them turn the leaf. A little trust and faith, just a little self-belief. Working all night, working all day. I'm just trying to make my way. Working all night, working all day. I can't survive on the money they pay. Working all night, working all day. I'm just trying to make my way. Working all night, working all day. I can't survive on the money they pay. Broken lives and promises are all we can expect. But you can't take away my dignity or my self-respect. Slowly I got angry with all the people who have more. I was tired of being known, sick to death of being poor. And I stepped back, I took a good look at myself. Is this the best that I can be? There's so much more I can achieve. All I needed was a guiding hand to help me turn the leaf.
Welcome back to the Anger Management Podcast with me, Andy Stevenson.
William Simcox.
And the Joe Allen, but not that one.
The Joe Allen.
The
Do you know,
Joe. I like that.
I've just realised
Go on.
why I look like I'm all tensed up.
Why?
Right?
Is it
It's
'cause you've not
because
watched Love Island?
no. It's because people won't realise this because obviously we edit this out. But before we start each segment, I do a clap, don't I?
Ah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
clap, and then my hands only come down to there, so I look like I'm massaging a pair of boobs.
Look like that guy off
Like
a scary
that.
movie.
Oh, I look like I'm really stressed or holding 2 bags of invisible sugar. But it's not. It's because I've just clapped. Now I know what it is.
And
I'm
then
gonna
you
try
stand
and-
there like that with
I'm
your
going to
hands
try
by
and keep
your
my
side.
hand down by my
Oh,
side
God.
from
If
now
anyone
on.
wants to know what we're talking about, do watch us on YouTube
Oh,
at
God.
Anger Management Studios on YouTube.
Good plug
Good.
there, mate.
Yeah,
I
that's
could just
right.
imagine. I can just imagine Andy walking around like this down the street full of women
with claws, with his claws out.
So anyway,
Oh, dear me.
back to the podcast.
Sorry, guys.
That was
Sorry.
the Petal Falls with Working All Night, Working All Day. Absolutely fantastic song. Great
Yeah,
production
cracking,
on that. A little bit Simple Minds for me.
Yeah.
80s sound, very slick. I thought
like
that
it.
was a great song.
I did as
I
well.
was saying
Um,
it has like Kajagoogoo links.
Yeah, definitely.
After I forgot what the band were called.
yeah. But
Oh,
that
dear.
was the Petal Falls with Working All Night, Working All Day. You can catch the Petal Falls at all the usual places: Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal,
The
all
usual,
the
guys.
rest of it. They are on all social media platforms. Check them out. Give them a like. Give them a subscribe. Give them a bell ding. Or whatever it may be. Show them your support. And thanks, guys. Thanks for sending your tracks to us again. That was fantastic. So we did have a Graham poll last week,
Week
Liam.
before
And I
last.
got to be honest, it's my favourite Graham poll
Oh, I thought it
of
would
the
be.
Anger Management
Thought it would be.
podcast so far in the 11 episodes that we had done at that
Yeah.
point. It's been a couple of weeks since we filmed that episode as I have been away at work for the RAF.
Busy man,
Actually,
aren't you? I
yes,
didn't
I've
know.
been doing a festival for the RAF.
Oh, wow.
So it's been good fun. I got to stay in the barracks down at RAF Benson. Yeah, it was great
Wow.
fun. So I have been away. So it's been a couple of weeks since we posed this conundrum to our listeners. I'll set the scene.
Yeah.
We had Vainsy on as our last guest. Liam Vaines, a good friend of mine. Vainsy sprung upon us that he can do an awesome
Gollum.
Gollum impression, Gollum from Lord of the Rings,
Oh,
right?
dear.
And we faced that off against my favourite impression of all time,
Cheers.
which is Liam's Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime.
Okay, so
Autobots.
we put after having a bit of an impression off for 10 or 15
Spat
minutes,
everywhere,
we
sorry.
put to our listeners and viewers quite simply, whose was the best impression? Do you want to know where I sit?
Oh, yes, go on. Because you didn't want to give us your answer, did you?
I didn't want
You
to
wanted
sway
to
things
wait
for
until
listeners.
the results came in, but yeah, go on, Andy. We'll let you.
It's so difficult.
I know.
It's
They,
so
they were
difficult.
both good. Not just blow me on trumpet, but still.
I know Vainsy will listen to this as well, so I don't want to offend him, but
Shout out, Vainsy.
I'm going to go with you, Liam.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to go. The reason is,
Go on.
only one reason, I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I
Okay.
know who Gollum is, but I don't know well enough to know how good Vainsy's impression was.
Yeah.
It sounded great to
It was
me,
good.
but I've only watched Lord of the Rings through once in my life.
Yeah.
Whereas I am an unbelievably massive Transformers fan, original 80s cartoon
Oh, I
Transformers.
used to watch that myself.
So
yeah.
I know exactly what Optimus Prime should sound like, and he sounds like you,
Oh,
Liam.
cheers.
Oh,
I'll take that.
So
a
that's
compliment.
where my vote went. That was no disrespect to Vains's impression, but simply because I know the Optimus Prime voice so much better.
Andrew
Liam,
You can make yourself a bit of money, you could, Liam, you know.
Liam-
Good.
They're gonna-
Liam gets my vote.
I'm available for bookings.
They keep bringing out Transformers films, mate. You can make yourself
Oh,
a
there
bit
you
of
go.
dosh here, mate.
Ah,
There you
the
go.
films aren't real Transformers.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm on about
I
the
mean,
80s cartoon.
I remember because my dad used to have. My dad was a big fan of the Transformers as well. He used to do comic books, didn't he, as well, a long
Will they
time
listen
ago.
Yeah.
to this, your dad?
No, he won't.
Oh, right, okay. Shame.
And he used to record on. Do you remember like little video tapes, stuff like that?
Oh,
VHS.
yeah, cassettes.
I used to have all the classic Transformer films, the cartoon ones on that. I used to love watching them when I was little. But it's like I say, I know it's going on top here, but the recent Transformer films, I agree. The first one was decent, but after that they were a bit I thought Bumblebee was
the
good.
first one, Megan Fox's
That's
arse
all
was
everyone
decent.
remembers.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
Let's be honest, the rest of it wasn't so decent. But I can never tell what's going on. It all just looks like a blazing Michael Bay, isn't it? I never know what's going on. But the original cartoons were great. So anyway,
Yes.
Liam, our listeners have spoken.
They have.
And what have they said regarding our impression of?
Well, we were asking our listeners which impression was better. We had Liam Vainsey with Gollum and me, Liam Simcox, with my impression of Optimus Prime. And the results are in, boys. And I can reveal
After the break.
it's a draw.
No.
Yeah.
A draw?
50-50, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
50%,
Wow,
50%.
Yeah. 50-50.
Wow. No way, that's a first.
That is a first.
For the
That
Anger
is
Management
podcast first.
Wow, I'm amazed by that. It just goes to show how awesome both
I know,
impressions
to be
were.
fair, and I'll take it. I'll take a draw.
Well done, lads, well done.
Yeah,
I
cheers.
can't do any impressions. So,
Well, I
I
can't
can't
do.
do I can't do any impression whatsoever.
Oh.
No whatsoever.
Can impersonate a footballer.
yeah.
I can do, yes, can do, yes.
Doesn't have to do anything, just
I
has to
don't-
turn up.
Just turn up.
Turns
Yeah.
up, gets his ID out. There
That's
you
it.
go.
Gets a check.
Joe Allen.
I'll get on the pitch tomorrow for Stoke to turn up driving license. Yeah, I am Joe Allen.
Yeah.
So, fellas, here's a little question for
Oh,
you.
go on.
Right,
Oh,
this,
dear.
this one got me thinking, and this relates a little bit back to the last segment where we were talking about men saying that the wedding days are the favourite day ever in the life, right? So, I'm going to ask you: is it still okay to look at other men or women, right?
Don't
Depending
judge.
if you're a man
Don't
or
judge.
woman or gay or straight or whatever you may
Watch
be.
Love Island.
Doesn't matter.
Ugh,
Watch
fucking
Love
hell.
Island.
Get
Nice-
off my
nice
dick,
joke.
Joe.
Thank you. So, is it still okay to look at other people that you think are attractive
PC, I like it.
when you've got a partner?
Yes.
Oh, straight in, Joe.
Simple as
Straight
that.
in.
Joe's in there.
Yes, absolutely nothing wrong with it whatsoever. You can't stop me from looking where I want to look. End of. That's end of discussion. in my house.
Yeah, but
I'm definitely
on,
on
Andy.
Joe's side of the
Yeah.
fence here. And what about you, mate?
Yeah, no, I
Obviously,
completely
your
agree.
missus does listen to this.
yeah, I know. No,
So,
yeah.
You hear a shit.
Because you're not sitting there telling me right now that women don't do it. You're not telling me that women don't look at guys or girls or whatever it may be. And at the end of the day, we're only human.
well,
aren't we?
some of us are human. Some of
Yeah.
us watch Love
Oh,
Island.
for fuck's sake. This is good in title,
I
innit?
think that it's definitely okay because it's an innate disposition, really, isn't it? You see a member of the opposite sex, usually the opposite sex, okay, and somebody you think is attractive, right? And it's an innate disposition to look.
Yeah.
It's hardwired into you to look because the biological part of you is going, I'd like to breed with that
Yeah.
and make offspring with that.
Yeah.
You can't, it's only society and societal rules that have stopped that from happening. You can't just walk up to somebody and start mating, unless you're a dog, right? But you can't take away the biological components of human beings.
yeah,
They're
no,
still
you
there.
can't.
We've learned to control them, obviously. And this brings me back to the last segment. Well, you get a lot of people who will say, oh, no, I'm married. I've never looked at another woman in my
Fuck
life ever
off.
since I've been
Lies.
married. And you sit there and you're like, fuck, was your wedding day your best day of your life, mate?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Get back
yeah.
to your paper round.
Bollocks. Absolute bollocks.
I went to a stag do recently in Cardiff, and honestly, you go in Cardiff and there are girls everywhere, honestly,
Yeah,
dressed
yeah.
up and like that, and a lot of nice looking girls in Cardiff as well.
In Wales?
In Wales, yeah, I believe, yeah, there are a lot of nice looking women in Wales, and the lads that I were with, a lot of them are married.
Yeah.
And they were looking everywhere, aren't you? These are blokes in the 30s and 40s. I mean, they were looking everywhere. So anybody that says that's lying in my eyes.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Joe. And I think, like you say, you've never drove down the street and there's a girl walking past from gym and she's got all the gym gear on and arse is like perky as fuck. You're going to look, aren't you? Right. Or if you're a woman and you're driving down and a guy's walking around with his top off, it's red hot.
Sometimes,
you're not
though,
telling
Liam,
me they don't look.
sometimes when you do look, it can be bad, though, right?
If you get caught.
And this brings me on to another topic.
I like how
another
you said that, if you
topic
get
that I
caught.
had.
if you get caught.
Now, again, we touched upon this on the last episode that we accept that there's all different body shapes and
Yeah, of
body
course.
sizes. This was a couple of episodes ago when we had Glenn Maller on, Glenn being a fitness instructor, and we were discussing how we think it's a bad thing that media today is promoting the fact that being overweight and unhealthy is actually okay.
Yeah.
Because we believe that it's not. I think we
It's not, no.
unanimously agreed that it's not a good thing.
It's not, no.
And you saying walking down the road, you seeing a woman in a gym gear, right? And you have a look, but sometimes that's not a nice sight.
Oh,
Sometimes that is not a nice sight.
Yeah.
And I just thought that we should bring in some kind of licensing
for leggings.
for certain kinds of clothing.
There you go, Dragon's Den,
right?
license for leggings.
Licensing for leggings, right? Because leggings are one of those items of clothing, right, that can be the greatest thing you will see in your week, right? Like you just said, girl just come out the gym, attractive woman, come out the gym. She's walking down the road and you're driving along in your shitty car, in your shitty, what is it?
With your keg.
Panda or your missus's Panda or whatever it is you're driving.
Honda Jazz.
Honda Jazz. Liam's driving along his missus's Honda Jazz, and there's a lovely woman just walked out the gym, and you have a crafty glance, and that's nice.
Yeah.
But conversely, sometimes you're walking along, you've had to take a diversion through a rough area, and there's a Sharon on her way pick up a 20 Marlboro Lights from the offie.
She's
right?
got 3 teeth.
She literally
Jeremy
does.
Kyle-esque.
She doesn't own any other clothes apart from those leggings, right?
Oh,
so they're
Primark
covered.
leggings.
They're covered in like minging, like chip fat stains,
Or bobbles
right?
and cat
And
hair
it looks like some kind of weird Play-Doh fat factory. Do you know what I mean? Where it all it's seeping out the holes.
Andy.
Right?
Stop
You know
it,
what I'm
lad.
saying?
Stop it,
mate?
lad.
You know what I'm saying?
We know well what you're saying.
So I'm just advocating that certain items of clothing should perhaps come with at least a health warning.
Fucking license.
Do you know what I
That's what you
mean?
need.
I've never been I'm a fan of I'm a huge fan of leggings, but I also hate leggings.
But they're my favourite.
well.
Them like middle-aged women that, and it's always Primark leggings, and they leave nothing to imagination. And you can see they've got parachute pants on underneath, and you can see up grooves.
Hang on a minute. What the flying fuck a parachute?
Not like
pants,
a
Liam?
thong or like.
Is this something they wear on Love Island?
No, fuck off.
You're
I'm
gonna have
not
to
Lindsay
explain.
Hammer.
You're gonna have to explain this using
All
your
I've got
Love
in my head
Island
now
knowledge.
It's just girls with if they jump off a building, the pants
yeah.
batten down.
It just slows them down and stops them hitting the ground.
Exactly, yeah, but
and
that's all you see. You
splatting.
don't see like a thong or a G-string or anything like that. They've got these big fat minging pants that they've had for 20 years on.
Right. Okay.
That kind of
God.
thing. And then you're just like, oh, and then you look away. Cause
Smell
you're
of
like,
cheese coming out of them.
Oh, fucking hell, Joe.
Nice, Joe.
Easty.
Lovely.
And that's been the Anger Management Podcast. Thank you very much for listening.
We'll see you next time. I was thinking of making this our Graham poll for the week because I've met many guys who insist that they don't look at other women, right? That they would never look at another woman because they're married or they've got a girlfriend.
And the same people that said the wedding.
But I also know plenty of blokes who like us would just be like, nah, that's bullshit. That's
but you're only
bollocks."
human at the end of the day.
So I
Come
want
on.
to put this to our listeners. I'm going to make this our Graham for this
Sounds
week.
good.
So I'm going to ask you listeners and you viewers, is it okay to still have a crafty glance at an attractive person, even if you've already got a partner? Let us know what you think, whether you're straight, whether you're gay,
Or whatever you identify as.
We don't care. If you see an attractive person walking down the road, are you going to have a little look? And more importantly, are you going to admit to having a little look? I think that's what we want to know, really. I do.
Yeah,
I'll say,
admit it.
I see a fit girl walk down the road and I'll have a look. Always do. Can't help myself.
I think all blokes do. But we'll find out.
Yes, but will they admit
Will
to
they
it,
admit-
Joe?
will they admit to it?
That's
it.
the question that
That's a good
we all wanted to know. I wanted to take the conversation onto a little bit more of a serious note, lads. After that, I wanted to move on to the. We usually do a weekly woke watch, which can be quite humorous at times. I do get on a little bit of a rant about it, but I wanted to move over to something that's really been affecting me for the last couple of weeks, which is the situation going on in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Again, this is a bit of a serious topic for the Anger Management Podcast, but I feel it needs to be addressed and talked about. You guys know my feelings on immigration in this country. I've never thought that we've had stringent and tight enough rules in this country for immigration, but there has to be a line even for somebody who thinks like I do. And the state of affairs in Afghanistan, to put it in layman's terms for me, we need to get people out of there. Wherever we get them, whether we bring them to Britain, whether we send them to Australia, it doesn't matter where. We've got to somehow get people out there. And I don't just mean British people. I mean the Afghan people who've helped the Western forces. Do we really believe that the Taliban are just going to go, you did what? Oh, you were a clerk for a general in the US Army. Oh, yeah, it's all right, man. You just go back to your house. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
No. What's going to happen, right, is the Taliban are going to cut everyone's heads off, right? That's what they do. They haven't, in 20 years' time, they haven't stopped being religious zealots, right? They haven't just gone, that Islam we used to follow. And we've knocked that on the head.
Yeah.
We've knocked it on the
good.
head. We're
good.
normal now.
It was just a phase, a teenage phase.
Yeah, teenage phase. We've knocked it on the head. We're all right. We don't cut people's arms off and stuff anymore. No, we're all right. No.
Romance.
What's actually happened is the Taliban is still complete and utter lunatics,
I
right?
agree.
So,
Well,
before we get into the political
don't watch
side,
Love Island.
well, that's true. They don't have the opportunity, fortunately.
I'm saying nothing, boys.
I mean, that's
saying
probably the only good thing about living in Afghanistan at the moment is they don't watch Love Island, Liam. Anyway, so for me, I've seen a lot of posts recently about people saying, "Oh, it's their country. They just leave them where they are, or get our people." And I can't get on board with that. I can't. I feel we need to do more to help these people because these people will be killed. There's no two ways about it. The Taliban haven't suddenly become soft. There's still a bunch of religious zealot lunatics, right, who will execute everybody who doesn't follow their extreme version of Islam, right? That's what will happen. I wanted to come to you guys and say, what do we do? How do we solve this problem? How do we go about it? Because basically, you've got an airport held by a few soldiers and surrounded by the Taliban. You've got thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are fucked. For a want of a better term. Once the troops have gone, they're fucked. The Taliban will execute them, right? What do we do? What do we do, Liam?
I completely agree, Andy. It's a difficult situation, but obviously I don't believe that the sole responsibility should fall on UK. I do believe other countries and other nationalities should help as well, because
I do.
You know, I don't believe it should all be on us. I don't agree with that whatsoever. But the one thing that pisses me off with is it's all over news at the minute, and obviously it's the main talking point of things like that, is celebrities that preach to us that have got millions of pounds well better off than people that just have normal everyday jobs. What we should or shouldn't do, what we can do, what we should be doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, well, like Lewis Hamilton, for example.
He's
he
got
could
money.
be using his money, his influence to help fund planes or fund
Yeah, but he
away,
can't do that
stuff
at the
like
moment because there's World Championship points
Oh,
at
right.
stake.
Yeah.
He's only
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
only
well.
a social justice warrior when there's no World
But it doesn't
Championship
affect him.
points at
When
stake.
he's got no fuel in his car.
If it was the end of the season, then he'd probably be helping, but
Yeah.
World
Yeah.
Championship points more important. mate.
Exactly, and they come on, and it's on news all the time. And like I say, it's the main topic of discussion. And obviously, this is why we're touching on it now on the podcast. And it is horrible to see. And you see people like handing the babies over barbed wire to soldiers and stuff like that because they don't want to see them killed. And they come out, Taliban, and I think it was a few days ago, and they're making promises that women can, do what they want to do, and they have freedom of speech, and they don't have to wear hijabs or burqas or whatever it may be. And I just think it's bullshit, you
It is,
know.
yeah,
And
it is.
it's horrible to see. It's absolutely devastating to see. But I don't believe much will get done. And I think it pains me to say, I can't see Boris Johnson going into Downing Street, taking all politicians and saying, right, this is what we need to do. This is how we're going to do it. And this is what's going to happen. Same with the American president, Joe Biden. I can't
Well,
see...
Joe Biden's got dementia. Anybody who can't see that, there's something wrong with you as well. The guy, I feel bad for the guy. I'm not a Joe Biden fan at all. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
The guy's got serious mental problem going on, and how he's still in charge of the American government and the free world, for all intents and purposes, is beyond me. It's absolutely beyond me. And I'm not speaking politically. I'm speaking from health reasons. The guy's not well.
Has there been much backlash to Joe Biden, given what he's?
I know, because they pulled all the troops out, didn't they?
Yeah. But has there been much of a backlash?
In America, there's been a massive amount of backlash.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to get too I don't want to get too far down the political rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I just want to know from you guys what you think should be done about. At the end of the day, it's FUBAR. It's all fucked over there. The only thing that matters now is getting the people out of there that need to come out. And it's okay saying, well, we'll get most of the British people out, but do we really think that, let's say there's 1,000 British people left there, think the Taliban are going to leave them alone?
No,
they're just going to think that they're going to say, right, oh, you're British, are you? Well, you can come work in this supermarket, mate. That's not what's going to happen at all, right? And that's before we get to the thousands and thousands of Afghans who've been part of the government in Afghanistan, who've helped the US, helped the UK, helped the other nations who've been there. These people are fucked if they don't get out. I mean, you don't hang on the side of a plane if you think you're going to be all right.
Yeah, you need to be really desperate to do that.
People screaming at this podcast now, Andy, and I can see it coming, is, well, where are they going to go? Where are they going to live?
Yeah.
Well, this is another thing I don't like, because I've noticed you'll notice, like, whenever refugees do come over, I don't think they get distributed evenly. I don't.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They always get shoved into the same places, don't they? Like, it's generally poor areas to get put into, and it's just something I don't agree with.
Just left to it then, aren't they? They're just left to their own devices.
And I just think there should be. I firmly believe with this situation we should take as many as we can in, as possible we can in, but we need to distribute them.
Around the westernized countries of the world, and I couldn't agree more with you there, Joe. I feel there's enough countries around the globe, affluent countries at the end of the day, that we could all take these people in and say, listen, I don't know what the figures are, guys, but let's say there's 100,000 Afghans that desperately need a place to live, who've helped the government and are basically going to be fucked once the Taliban have got hold of them.
You could distribute them easily.
Well, 100,000, 1 million. Let's say there's 1 million, right?
Yeah.
If all the Western countries of the world took 50,000, right, we could distribute those people and give them a new life, right? And I'm not somebody that thinks we should just open borders and people coming across in dinghies and all the rest of it. I think we need to be strict. But this is a different state of affairs.
No,
These are people that have helped our government and therefore our country and therefore us, right? And the US as well, right?
Yeah.
These are people that have helped
Allied forces, really.
Allied forces, exactly.
Yeah.
And these are people that deserve to be looked after. They don't deserve to be left behind to that brutal, fucking awful religious fucking madness regime over there, right? Now, let's be honest. The Islamic community is spread across the globe now, and the same as any other community, 99.9% of Muslims are absolutely sound people, right? So these people can be rehomed all across the world. Of course they can. There's Muslim communities everywhere. So why can't we do it? And more importantly, why didn't we do it 6 fucking months ago?
Exactly.
Right? Why has this not been done 6 months ago? Where you go again? I'm no army general or anything, Joe. But why have we not gone right? What we'll do is we'll get all these people out first. Then we'll remove the troops that are keeping the peace, and then the Taliban can fucking scrap over nothing because there's nothing left.
It's because there's been no focus on it. It's like you'll find a lot of dodgy things will go on if there's no focus on it, because all the focus around here has been on COVID.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
Joe.
It's weird how
Brexit.
nobody on those aeroplanes coming out of Afghanistan was wearing face masks.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, when genuine shit actually hits the fan, all the COVID bullshit goes out the window, right? Because it's bullshit, right? Because in the grand scheme of things, it means fuck all, right? Let's get these people. Let's get these people out before the Taliban cut their heads off. Because you know what? Wearing a face mask won't make any difference if the Taliban cut your head off.
You think the US Army are going to stand on board and say you can't come or you can't leave Afghanistan because you're not wearing a mask?
No.
Is your name Nigel Manson?
I've got my documentation. No, mate, you haven't had your jab.
Oh,
You haven't had your jab.
Oh yes, you've got everything you want. So you got skills, license.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you've not got a mask. Stay home.
That's it. Yeah, that bit of cloth that's gonna.
yeah.
You know, and it's a difficult one, lads. But what pisses me off a minute, and it seems to be a trend that I see all over social media at the moment, is people sitting on the computer screens, on their phones, on their laptops, iPads, whatever it may be, saying, "Well, why aren't we supporting our homeless? Why aren't we giving homeless people a home? Or why aren't we giving this, that, and other, or supporting people without jobs?" And I'm like, I get it on one hand, but on the flip side, this is a life or death situation. Fair enough, you're out on the street, but you haven't got Taliban chasing you down and threat. You know, you're not dying. You ain't got a gun hanging over your head while you sleep. And I can see both sides of that coin, but
Yeah.
it is a tough one, and it is a tough conversation, but people need to have it. And I don't
I
agree
agree.
with...
We don't like
with
having tough conversations, though. Do
No,
we? That's the
exactly,
problem.
Joe. And people shy away from these conversations, and it annoys me. And it's like, oh, yeah, it's scary or whatever. And I'm like, you should be fucking scared. You should... You're human at the end of the day, and you can't live under a rock all your life.
No,
you can't. And with conversations that need to be had up and down countries, like even now, you might listen to this podcast and think, you know what, I want to go and sit down and have a conversation with my wife, with my husband, with my son, with my daughter, and just get a better understanding of it. And
Put Love Island on.
just there you go, and just it's a tough one.
I couldn't agree with you more there, Liam. It's a tough conversation for the world to have, really. But I just think
something needs to be done about it.
Yeah, something needs to be done.
Something
And
about it.
unfortunately, lads, we're three guys doing a podcast, and I'm not sure. Apart from talking about it, and I hate to use the term raising awareness because I hate it, but. It is really the only thing that people like us can do is talk about it as much as possible, so that the authorities do actually do something about it. But we'll see in the weeks to come what
will be done
actually happens. I don't know.
Just to finish off,
I think that people will just be left behind.
I think they'll take a few in.
Yeah.
But I think, see, the thing, like going back to this, when there's focus on stuff, they'll do something about it. Whereas the focus shifts.
Again, it comes back to that point earlier, doesn't it? Like, is that the flavour of the month?
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll do what they can, and then as soon as their eyes off it, they'll stop. I think
something else will happen, and no one will care anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to our next song. After that was a bit of a downer, that section.
I know, but
lads.
it's a serious conversation that needs to happen.
I was contemplating not bringing it up, but it's been bugging me the last couple of weeks. I've seen everything that's been going on, and I know I come across as a bit of a wally sometimes, but things like that do. They hurt me. They work me up, and they get me upset when I see people suffering, especially because at the end of the day, because of religion, right? And I get very, very concerned about things like religious extremism and that kind of stuff. And it makes me it is, and it upsets me that we can't live in a world where people can just let each other get on with whatever they want to get on with. And,
definitely.
you know, the Afghan people, 99.9% of them are just people. People living their lives. And I don't know. I don't know where it'll go. We're going to have another song anyway, guys. This is a track by a guy called John Forrester. And John sent me this track over, and we're going to have a little listen to it. It's called To Live Without Fear of Falling. It was released in July of 2020. I can give you a bit of blurb.
Yeah,
I've got a bit of blurb this time. John Forrester sings songs of travel, adventure, lust, discovery, friendship, love, Ireland, and weather.
Very good.
A fine
Zero
performer with an easy, relaxed delivery, a warm, open-hearted voice, an unshowy guitar style, and an infectious personality. Huh?
That's a good.
I like that. That makes me feel chilled. Yeah. That does.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. So John Forrester. We're gonna have a little listen right now. The song is called "To Live Without Fear of Falling." Let's check it out, lads.
Spend your life waiting, she said, looking at the edge.
someone comes and pushes. You gotta be ready, she said. We're only here for moments, so you have to make them count. And if you're always looking backwards, well, you'll miss what's up ahead. To live without fear, to live without fear, to live without fear of falling. But what if I fail? And if I lose everything? She smiles and says, no risk, no movement. And anyway, well, I'll be your safety net. To live without fear, to live without fear, to live without fear of falling. Fingers crossed behind my back, eyes to the sky. Feel the balance shift. Am I flying? Am I falling? Am I flying? Or falling? Falling. To live without fear, to live without fear, to live without fear of falling, of falling, of falling, of falling.
Welcome back to the Anger Management Podcast with me, Andy Stevenson.
William Simcox.
And the Joe Allen, not that one though.
I've managed to put my hands
I
down there.
saw-
Did you see me
I
do
watched
it?
it.
Consciously put my hands down so I didn't look like I was fondling them imaginary
Tits again.
breasts.
Give us a quick squeeze. Oh, damn.
That was John Forrester with the song "To Live Without Fear," and that was absolutely beautiful, John. Thanks ever so
Yeah.
much for sending that to us. It reminded me of the beautiful South.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a very chilled vibe about it, but beautiful. There was a piccolo or
Yeah.
something at the end. I absolutely
nice.
loved. Fantastic production as well. Lovely voice. Great song.
I think that's my favourite so far, to be honest, on this episode.
Thanks ever so much
Oh,
for
yeah,
sending
great
that
song
to
that
us,
was,
John. Those of you who would be interested in having your music featured on the Anger Management Podcast can get in touch, and there's a certain person in the room that will tell you how to do that. Liam, me old tater.
There we go. I was expecting a Love Island joke then.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
It's
That
all
comes
right.
later.
Cheers, boys. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, Anger Management Studios, or you can find us on Twitter at Anger Manage Pod. Like I say, all you've got to do is get in touch with us. And we did put out a checklist this week because we mention it time and time again on this podcast, don't we, Andy? And it still keeps happening. So basically, own the rights to your song. Don't send us Spotify links, and automated messages will not be replied to. Just be original. Don't
Yeah.
sing covers as well. Because
Don't sing covers. We can't play covers. And please, the most important one is make sure you own the rights to
Yeah.
your music, because it just becomes a shit fest of trying to deal with distribution and publishing companies otherwise. And we just have to cut you out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Then no one gets to hear you then.
And
Sorry.
and another one, we've had some great songs sent to us by people, but they send us links to Spotify. We need you to send us
Yeah,
an MP3
what do you want us to do
or
with
a
that?
WAV, because we have to incorporate it into our
You
show,
know,
into
what,
our
What
recording.
we're meant to do with Spotify link, Andy.
So I don't know, mate.
I don't know what they want us to do.
We can do nothing with it, basically.
Pretty much. So
So-
you're wasting your time.
You can send us your music, but try and stick to the rules.
Yeah.
I
Come
know
on,
I don't
guys.
like rules, but these are rules that work.
Yeah.
These ones are.
Come on.
So I wanted to come across to our guest, the real Joe Allen. That's his full name. The real Joe
Joseph
Allen.
Allen.
He wanted to talk about the term snowflake and other labels, and I'm a big proponent of this. I'm on board with you, right? People who are termed as snowflakes do piss me off, but I don't use the term snowflake
No.
myself. I think it's a bit of a shit one.
You just
I'll be
call them
honest.
twats.
I just call them twats. Yeah,
There we go.
just arseholes or
too well.
twats or whatever. And I get labelled a lot on social media. As you can imagine, I am
Yeah.
quite outspoken and opinionated. And I've been called every label you can think of, everyone under the sun. What is it about snowflake that pisses you off so much,
It's
Joe?
not as there are snowflakes out there. There are. Don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of like I've noticed there's like a trend with like a generation like my dad's age group. They tend to label anybody my age as a
How old's your
snowflake.
dad, if you know
My dad's like 58,
right.
and so kind of like let's just say 60s. 70s generation, they kind of label everybody a snowflake. So if you disagree on anything, oh, you must be a snowflake. It's like it's not always the case. It's see, I don't know what you describe as a snowflake is, because I used to work in engineering. I did.
Yeah.
And it's like all like big burly blokes now. If you ever disagreed with them on anything, they go, "You're just a snowflake." It's like, well, no, I can disagree with you on things.
Yeah, I have
as
an
long as I don't go
opinion.
crying about it, then
Fair
No,
enough.
Do
fair
you,
enough.
do you, Joe? Do you find that it's just the other end of the scale from? So, for me, when I don't agree with the left,
yeah,
I get labelled as a Nazi, right?
Or conspiracy
same thing.
theories.
I'm always called. I'm called a
Yeah.
Nazi all the time.
Yeah.
Right, a Nazi, and that feels like that. I class myself as a centrist person.
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So I feel that those on the left term people like me a Nazi. Those on the right term people like me a snowflake.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I think I sit pretty much
Yeah.
in the middle, really. I have. There's a lot of issues where I can see the point of view of the left, the point of view of the right, and I sit in the middle. But these terms, these words that are used, I don't really understand why they are used. I don't. What are you trying to achieve by using these
It's
words?
used to silence people, I think.
Yes,
I think it
I
is.
think I agree with you there.
Because it's like, if let's just say you have a slightly right-wing opinion, and then somebody calls you a Nazi, you're going to think, oh, I don't want to be thought of as a Nazi, because Nazi's quite serious.
Yeah, it's a serious allegation.
It's a serious allegation, isn't it, to be
Yeah.
called a Nazi is, and you're going to think, oh, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to be accused of being a Nazi, don't you? And it's kind of like, I think sometimes people use it as manipulation to kind of
Yeah,
like,
no, I agree.
it's kind of like, oh, if I make him feel bad,
He'll stop.
he'll stop and maybe he'll see my perspective. And that's just where it's like the snowflake thing. It's like ice skating at work sometimes. It's like, if I disagree with them or anything, oh, you're a snowflake. And I used to think, oh, I'm a bit too sensitive. But I think, well, hang on a second, you can't do that.
Yeah.
No, what I mean is why can't I disagree with you? As long as I don't go like hysterical. So I'll say,
And don't you feel that
Yeah.
is part of the issue in the current climate, that it's all about you must agree with me all the
Yeah.
time on every single subject
Oh, yeah, definitely.
in the world.
Yeah, but who are those? Are these people? They're the people that force you to believe their views and their opinions are worse than me having a view or an opinion. Surely.
Well, that's
Yeah,
it. That's exactly it.
In
And
my eyes, if you want to accuse anybody of being, like, say, a Nazi, that's a bit, that's
extreme,
that's a
innit?
bit extreme, isn't it? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, it's very extreme. I mean, look at what they did in the past. I mean, to compare,
it's grim from that point of
Yeah,
view,
of
Joe.
course.
But I'm a firm believer that we should be allowed to say whatever the fuck we want to say at
should
the
be,
end
yeah,
of the
yeah,
day.
you should.
And I'm not entirely sure why people spend so much time trying to convince other people of their opinion. This podcast is the perfect example of how we present this podcast, right? If you don't agree with what we're saying, turn it off.
Simple.
Or what
Yeah.
I'd rather you do is open a dialogue with us.
Yeah.
Leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts on a topic that we're discussing. Because one thing that we will never do is dismiss you out of hand. Because even if you left us a comment on, let's say, our YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
And you said you were talking about such and such, and I completely disagree with you on this, and I think this. What we would do is we would get that comment and we would have it on our show and we would discuss it.
Yeah.
So that you could have a reaction. You could have a reaction to our opinion of your opinion.
Yeah, which
and
is good.
that is what a dialogue is supposed to be. We aren't trying to change your opinion at all.
No.
If what we say gives you an open mind and maybe alters what you think, that's fine, right? But we want to hear from people who have got an opposite opinion to it. Not even an opposite, just a differing opinion of any kind.
Oh, yeah.
And I always look at it like this: as long as you're not being a dick, as long as you're not being violent, and as long as you're not being an arsehole about something, you can have I always go back to religion for me. Religion's the big one for me, right? I'm an atheist. I don't believe in religion at all, right? In organised religion, okay? If you do, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and change your. If you're a Catholic or you're a Muslim or you're a Buddhist or whatever you may be, or a Jew, I don't care, right? I'm not going to try and change your mind and try and convince you that your faith isn't real, right? If you want to believe in that, that's fine. I think you're wrong. But that's just what I think.
Yeah,
right?
but that's your opinion, though.
Conversely, why spend your time trying to convince me that I'm wrong?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You let me think what I want to think. I'll let you think what.
Yeah.
And I just believe that if we could instill that value upon the population of the world, I think the world would be a much better place. We could stop fighting over so many things. And again, we go back to social media, and it's fine. Have your opinion, have your point, but you don't have to be a dick about it. People can disagree with you. I've got a friend, Rick, who I work with when we go out building festivals and stuff. And Rick's a very liberal guy. I'd say left-wing guy, right?
Yeah.
Me and Rick couldn't think more differently politically. But you know what? We're the best of friends because me and Rick have got a great way of we talk to each other. We have a real dialogue, and Rick will tell me what he thinks, and I'll tell him what I. And you know the craziest thing is when you strip all the bullshit back, the amount of times we end up being almost of the same opinion.
Wow.
Is crazy. You wouldn't believe it. We start off as Rick being over here on the left and me being over here on the right, and we discuss. We'll be on the way to a show somewhere, so we'll have like a 3-hour discussion. And we'll strip this away and we'll strip that away and that'll go and that'll go. And before you know it, we're all hovering around the centre, the pair of us are. And we're like, yeah.
Well,
so if we did
better?
that, wouldn't that work? And that would work.
So much better than just like saying you've got to believe what I tell you to believe.
Instead of me going to Rick, oh, you're a snowflake, and Rick saying to me, oh, you're a Nazi.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dialogue, lads. That's all it is. Dialogue.
It's just communication and like just common sense as well. And like just touching on Andy's point earlier about saying a comment and things like that. You can also send us a voice clip. So if you're feeling brave, send us a voice clip, whether that be abuse or whether like, I believe this, Andy, that fucking Liam Simcox, he shouldn't be watching Love Island. What a cunt, you know what I mean?
I'm going to send that.
You know? And then obviously we'll play it on the podcast. And then, like I say, we'll open floor to discussions and conversations.
It'll be Liam's missus that sends that one in.
Yeah,
Can't believe
yeah,
watch
yeah.
Love Island.
You little bastard! Sorry,
You
babe.
look at women, what?
I wanted to move on to another topic
Doghouse.
of yours, Joe, that you'd wanted to discuss, and it was about sporting stories. I've been a sportsman all my life, from a very, very little kid, in quite a few different sports. I've been a good level footballer. I've been down to a 3 handicap golfer. I'm a cricketer. I'm a table tennis player, a tennis player. I played county tennis when I was a young man. I'm a pretty good all-round sportsman, or I was anyway. I'm 40 years old now. Obviously, I know you play football. I know you
Try to play
pretend
football.
to play football.
Try to play football.
We wanted to discuss a few light-hearted stories regarding our our sporting experiences.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to start with yourself, Joe. What for you? I mean, you've told us about your
broken leg
already.
Yeah. I mean,
which we shouldn't laugh at, but is funny.
It is funny, yeah. It is
Sorry.
funny how I did it, in fairness. When I went to the hospital, even the nurse and the doctor were laughing about how I did it. So
You fucking idiot.
Oh, no. It's just I actually had physiotherapy recently and that, and then I kind of said to him, like, so what's the timescale for me looking back into the football? And they kind of said, well, we're not sure yet, but you'll be able to play again. And I kind of said I was worried about tackles, stuff like that, because they said, well, given how you did it, you're more of a danger to yourself than other people being dangerous to you.
Oh my God.
And I thought, well, that's true, though, isn't it? But in terms of sporty stories, I mean, because I play competitive football, like I say, and I play competitive table tennis as well, actually.
Oh, brilliant. We'll have to have a game sometime, man.
Definitely, mate, definitely.
Oh, I've seen Joe play
I'm a good table tennis player.
Oh, did you? Have you ever played for a club or anything? Or?
I played for the county juniors when I was a kid. So
Oh, did you?
This is early 90s. Yeah.
Oh, really? Who was your coach? You know?
I can't, mate. It's 30 years ago, Joe. I can't remember
Do you
saving.
remember the club you're at, or like?
No, I was just down at Cheadle at the leisure centre in Cheadle.
Yeah.
So
Because it's just like playing table tennis in that sport.
it's a great sport.
It is, and you meet so many characters playing that sport because there's not many young people that play it nowadays. It's like there's not been much coaching.
Well, they do. They
locally.
just play it on video games.
Yeah, that's it. But local, like the Potters League and that, it's like full of old blokes and that. And there's some blokes that just not, they're not politically correct. And there's one bloke who plays my table tennis club called Pat, and he's like an old-fashioned builder, and he's just hilarious. He plays
Pat O'Cake.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, he's
Isn't that a drag name?
no. His name's Petal, and he's just absolute brilliant non-stop banter with him. It's like I remember one time, he was like, we're just playing a game of that, and then because he's like an old-fashioned builder, so he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
his banter's just not politically correct or anything
Calls
like that.
a spade and that.
Yeah, and he's just playing a game once, and he hit this wonderful backhand, but then as he hit it, it's like a young, I can't remember the lad was, like a young lad. He was playing against a young lad, and he just let out the biggest force ever.
Follow through for.
No, he just went whacker.
Just quickly there. Just quickly. Is that you laughing at a fort
I
story
knew
there,
that.
Liam?
I knew you'd say that.
Brilliant. Thanks for that one,
fuck's
Joe. We'll take that.
Absolutely. I
Fuck's
mean,
sake.
I was crying, honestly, absolutely crying, because he's just. Look, every single time he plays a game, you guarantee he's going to fart. It's just like
Follow through table tennis backhand.
and
I'm loving it. Loving it.
He's a great guy, honestly. Yeah.
I've got a friend, my best friend, my son's godfather, Chris. Razza is his name. You've heard me talk about Razza before.
Yeah.
Now Razza's a sportsman just like me. Good footballer. Unfortunately for Razza, he is the shittest golfer you've ever seen in your life.
Oh god.
But he's shit to the point that he's absolutely fucking hilarious, right? And we always used to, there was four of us. It was me, Gaz, Razza, and Malta Nat. And the four of us played golf everywhere. And we used to play for something we called the Shield. It was some little plaque thing that we'd found in a jumble sale once in about 1995. And we've been all over the world playing for this crappy little Shield, right? Where we like have a tournament between the four of us. And some of the things I've seen Razza do when we've been playing for the Shield are sheer genius, right? Comedic genius. There's a golf course near to where I live called Whiston Hall Golf Club, right? And that's where we were members when we were a bit younger, when we were in our 20s. And we turned up to play one day. We were playing in a competition on a Saturday morning, I think it was. And there's the four of us, me, Gaz, Razza, and Malta Nat. So Gaz, decent player. Gaz off about 13 handicap. I think I was off 4 at the time.
Yeah.
Malta Nat, decent player. We was off about 13 at the time. And Raz was just off 1 million handicap because he's fucking shit, right? So we turn up, and Razza is one of the most cool, calm, and collected people you'll ever know. I've never had a crossword with him in 30 years of friendship.
Wow.
He's just totally calm and cool all the time. Nothing gets to him, right? Very quiet, very reserved. He's the opposite of me. Probably why we get on so well. He's got a huge problem with nerves when it comes to anybody watching him do something, right?
Can't he take a piss in public or out like that?
He's shy.
Yeah,
he's a shy pooer. He's a shy golfer,
What
right?
a guy.
Me, on the other hand, I've always been one of them people that the more pressure I'm under and the more people that are watching, the better I perform. I was the same in football, right? And golf particularly. So we went to tee off on the first tee at Worcester, and I'll describe the scene for you. It's a lovely first hole where you've got trees either side of you, and you can see all the way across the Churnick Valley. You tee off into the Churnick Valley, which is where I live, and you can see all the way across the fields at the bottom. It's beautiful. You tee off over, there's a bit of shrubbery onto the fairway, which is maybe 150 yards down. You're hitting down, so you're teeing off elevated. In the background is a huge, great big hall, stately home hall, Whiston Hall, and the clubhouse just behind it. Very grand. There's a fountain and all the rest of it. So we turn up to play, and they have weddings at Whiston Hall. I'm actually a best man there for my friend Tim next year. And shout out Tim, Fatty. Shout out Fatty if you're listening. And
Shout out Tim.
So we turn up, and there's a wedding on. And at our tea time, which was 11 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was, they decided they were going to do the wedding photographs, but right next to the tee because the scenery is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? We're teeing off at this moment. So there must be 200 people around the tee, all around the clubhouse, all around, and quite tightly packed in because they're doing the photos with the bride and everything. I tee off first as a lowest handicapper, and I whistle one straight down the middle. 250 yards, bang, straight down the middle. Natty hits a nice shot down the middle. Gaz hits a nice shot down the middle. Anyway, Raz has been shaking like a fucking newborn zebra for the last 20 minutes, right? We like this shitting himself, right? You got to remember he's a dreadful golfer anyway, right? At the best of times, he's fucking shit. So it's his turn tee off, and we're already sniggering, try and not laugh, because he's like this. You can see his hands going like this. So when you tee off and there's people around, the people talk, and then it goes quiet for those few seconds. When you address the ball. So he shakes his way up to the ball.
Right? No.
He has a couple of like really practice swings. Anyway. Crowd goes silent, absolute hush. Whack, and he hits at this ball. He takes this almighty swipe at it, and he blocks it left, so it almost hits him on the shin, right? It's that, and he's gone full pelt at this with his driver. He hits it. There's a great big oak tree 20 yards away, right, on the left, right?
Yeah.
And he hit it, the ball cannons into this oak tree, and we all go, look, it's like Happy Gilmore. We look round like this, and it hits this oak tree, and the ball must go 150 yards straight up in the air, right? And there's 200 people on this tee, all watching this happen. We all look up like this, the ball's... And it comes down, and it lands right in the divot he's just taken, hitting the shot.
Oh, my God.
And Razza never even moved his feet again. He just stuck his head back down and topped it 30 yards off the end of the tee, mate. And there's 200 people in suits and ties and dresses all rolling about on the floor, pissing themselves laughing at him. Absolutely pissing themselves. And, of course, me, Gaz, and Malta Nat, we couldn't move, mate. We could, you know, when you're laughing that much, you can't even get off the floor. And we're just keeled over like it's just chaos. And Raz is just like sheepishly walks off the end of the tee. And that's what he's like.
Fucking hell.
We had another one. We went to Tenerife. Me and Raz did. We played golf. This is probably about 12 years ago. Okay. We went for a game of golf. This really posh course. And again, first tee, he was shitting himself, absolutely shitting himself. There must have been 50 Spanish guys all waiting for tee off, all milling around the tee. I teed off first, and I hit a nice shot down the middle. And we had a buggy, because obviously in Spain you can't walk, it's just too hot. So we've got a buggy parked up on the path by the tee. Razza gets out the buggy, walks up, addresses his ball. He must have 6 air shots. 7 air shots. Yeah. He's not even hitting the ball, right? And I can hear, I'm in the buggy driving, trying not piss myself, right? Just going, But I can hear all these Spanish guys starting to crack up, right?
Oh, no.
And it's weird in a different language because sniggering sounds different. It sounds different in a different language, right? And I can hear them all starting to crack up as Razza's swiping away and just not getting anywhere near this ball. And in the end, he connects with it right on the bottom of his club, and the ball rolls 10 yards off the end of the tee into the rough at the end of the tee.
Oh, no.
And I
Oh,
always
for fuck's
remember
sake.
always remember him getting in the buggy, and I went, stop the buggy, and he got straight back out again and went whack the ball again on the end of this tee. And there's 200 Spanish guys all dying round the
Oh,
side
my
of the
God.
tee. I was like, Raz, why can't you just hit the ball? You hit it anywhere. But that's what he's like.
Oh,
Razza
God.
in his golf, some of the things he's done. He's killed a duck as well. I remember him killing a
For
duck.
playing golf.
Yeah. He
Oh,
topped one on the fairway, and this poor duck was leading its ducklings across from the pond. And he topped it 15 yards straight in this duck's face. Yeah,
Shut
all the
laugh.
ducklings were
Shut
like, and we were like, youth, what have you done? What have you done? So every time he tees off now, we're always like, hang on, youth, there's a duck. A duck over there.
Oh, I recently went to Celtic Manor actually for a stag do.
Oh, nice.
Big golf course, and I didn't play any golf because I didn't really feel like it. I don't know why. I didn't really fancy it because my leg was still itching. I thought I might leave it. Anyway, my brother started taking up golf recently and that, and we've got a lad, my brother's mate's called Rich and that, and he's just one of them who's just seems to be naturally quite good at things. And my brother's like putting like weeks and weeks of practice into this, and he's not getting anywhere near Rich. He's like, fucking so shit, you know what I mean?
It's a frustrating game, golf is.
It's one of them, and then, but yeah, I mean, my brother, he was getting like all the. In fact, I think Rich was getting some lucky shots and that. But my brother, it was just funny all day watching my brother walk around getting really frustrated, going, why am I so bloody shit? And I've been practicing, and we're just like, oh, what the hell's up with you? And he's like, I said to him, then, look, you're new to the sport, just don't worry about it. And I'm like, oh, fine, okay.
Just knocked. It's a game that can easily knock you. Before we have our last song of the evening, it's not even the evening, is it? Of the day,
afternoon.
the afternoon, whenever it is. Time passes very strangely in this building.
Story.
I wanted to put another Graham to you guys. We're going to have a double Graham poll this week.
This is an anger management podcast first.
Yeah, we're full of first this week. This is something that dawned on me last night. I went to the chippy with my son,
Oh, I like this is going.
right? And I had fish chips and curry sauce.
Ooh,
My son had sausage chips and gravy.
ooh.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to put this to you lads. When I got home, I was wondering whether you boys eat your stuff straight out the chippy papers, or do you put it on a plate?
Oh, it's got to be papers, hasn't it?
Papers.
Surely. 100%.
Papers, I mean.
100%.
It's a chippy tea is the one time. It's like, it's not a bloody fancy steak, it's a chippy tea. Just get it in there,
And you ain't
shove it
got
in
to
your
wash
mouth
up.
and
You
get it
ain't
down
got to
there.
wash up with
That's
plates
it,
and
yeah,
shit like
solid.
that. Just sit it on bang.
Lads,
I'm surprised
you're wrong.
No!
I'm surprised.
No, you're wrong.
I'm surprised you actually put it on a plate. Because if I sat
You're
there with
wrong,
a chippy
lads.
tea in my car,
No.
I'm not waiting to get home to eat that. I'm going to sit in my car, just
No,
bury my face in
I'm
it.
with Joe on
I
this.
I
I'm
get
with Joe.
home and I always put it on a plate. I
So
do.
you take it out the paper onto the plate.
Yeah. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, it's so I can make sure there's not grease paper stuck to me chips and I'm eating grease paper, because that really isn't nice
Yeah, I get that.
at all. And the other reason is I can navigate. I like plate management, right? So I can navigate my plate better, right? I
Yeah,
know where my stuff is and where it should be. And that's my reason that I'm a plater.
Okay.
I'm
now.
not-
You
I'm
have
not a-
surprised me there.
Why
I'm
don't,
not
you, why don't you just go to the local chip and say, look, I don't like this. You could be like a special
'Cause
customer for them
I'd
and
have
say,
to
put
take
it on a plate
yeah,
for
but
you.
I'd have to take the plate back to him then when I finished, wouldn't I?
Well, they just give you like a bloody, I don't know, cheap plastic plate or something. I don't
No,
know.
I like to put it on my own plate. I'm a little bit weird
No.
like
You've
that.
surprised me there.
I'm just like, get the chippy, smother it in gravy with me, get the fork, get my car.
Same.
wolf it
Here's
down.
another one. Here's another reason for you. Okay, so you put your gravy or your curry
or
sauce
whatever it may be.
on paper, and the paper soaks it up. I don't want that. I won't be able to dip my chips in all of it.
I don't know.
I won't be able to use my last bit of sausage or my last few chips to get the last bit of
Yeah.
sauce. There's methods to my madness.
Chip,
I don't
I
just
can
do it
see
for
it.
no reason.
I can see
I've
it,
given
but-
this a lot of thought over the
I'm with
years.
Joe
lads.
on this.
No, I can see what you're saying, but Chippy tea, it's just like, be a man, just like wolf it down, yeah. It's not a fancy tea, just get it, you know.
We're going to put this to our lovely listeners and viewers. Liam, where can people get in touch for our second Graham poll?
Yes, we usually have our Graham polls on Twitter at Anger Managed Pod. Obviously, the ones that we've had in the past are fart jokes funny.
Yes.
Who has the best impression? We've had a fair few, haven't we, over the last few months, to be honest.
We
And this is an Anger Management podcast first. We're having 2 polls. So, yeah, head over to Twitter at Anger Managed Pod. We're asking, do you eat your fish and chips out of the paper or do you put it on a plate? And what was our other one as well?
It's as simple as that.
What was our first one that we had?
What was the first Graham? I can't even remember what the first Graham was.
I'm sure we'll remind
We'll,
people.
we'll remind people before we finish. It's been a long day.
I know.
We're going to have our final song of the afternoon. We are afternoon, aren't we?
Yeah, I hope so.
So we're going to have a song by a band called Slow Time Mondays. Quite like that name.
Yeah, it's different.
Cool name. The song's called She Likes Dancing.
That's all right. She
Yeah,
likes dancing.
she
yeah.
likes
like
dancing.
dancing.
I like that.
Have we got any blurb?
I'm just
just gonna
looking
be-
now. I haven't really got any blurb. They have got a new single
This
out
sounds a
at the
bit Bee
moment.
Gees, this does to me.
But we haven't got the new single. It's an older song that we've been sent. So we're gonna play this, see what it's like, and then let you know what we think.
Yeah.
Like we always do. Slow Time Mondays.
I've just remembered the Graham. It's do you look at opposite sex?
Oh,
yeah,
there
yeah,
you go. Do you look at the no, that's not what it is. It's not the opposite.
Oh, sorry.
Sex. It's do you have a look when you see an attractive person?
Oh, okay. There we go. I like
Even if
that.
you're in a relationship.
Remember,
Yeah.
Liam, political correctness.
Sorry, mate.
There you go.
There we go.
Slow Time Mondays. Let's check out this track. We'll be back shortly.
Could be something so sweet. Could do right arms and to the left feet. The ground barely making a sound. Everyone will know when she's around. She will tease me till I'm weak. Stumbling over words I can barely even speak. Pound for pound, she's the best in any town. Love a competition, I won't back down. I close my eyes and I still can't sleep. Now I've counted all the stars and every single sheep. Then I stand right up and I count to 10. Only 2 and I done again. Cause she likes dancing, rock romancing. She knows I can sing. I like to anyway, anyway. She will squeeze me till I'm weak. Bending over back cause I can't touch my feet. See orientated, don't know my own name. Crawling through glass just to see you again. I close my eyes but I still can't sleep. Now I've counted all the stars and every single sheep. Then I stand right up and I count to 10. Only 2 and I done again. Cause she likes dancing, rock romancing. She knows I can sing. I like to anyway, anyway.
Welcome back to the Anger Management Podcast. You're listening to me, Andy Stevenson,
Me, Liam Simcox.
Joe Allen, the Welsh Perlo.
the real Joe Allen. I was a band called Slow Time Mondays, and the song was called She Likes Dancing. That was a banging track.
I love that.
I was absolutely mint. I thought it was Scouting for Girls. That's what I thought it was. Absolutely fantastic track yet again. Slow Time Mondays are available to listen to in all the usual places. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal,
The usual,
all the
guys,
rest of it.
come on.
They are on Facebook and the other social media platforms. I know
to check
because I've
them
had a
out,
look.
actually.
So give them a subscribe and a
Yeah.
like and a message and all the rest of it. So thanks for sending that to us, guys. We really like that
I
song.
did like that one.
We were all
yeah.
we were all jiving
Oh,
off
yeah.
air to that one.
Should have
Foot-
seen him bopping about everywhere.
Foot tapping we were.
Yeah.
We like to end the podcast on a light note, where I pose a question to you boys. It's going to be a very simple one this time.
Ooh.
Going right back full circle to the start of the show.
Mm.
I wanted to ask you guys, who's the best comedian ever?
That's a good
Oh,
one.
that's
Mm.
a tough one.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Peter Kay for me.
Ooh.
Peter Kay for me.
I'm going to say...
Well, hang on a minute.
Oh,
Hang
sorry,
on a
go
minute.
on, go on.
Joe's got to justify his
Yeah, I'm
reasoning
about to
here.
say.
We can't
He's-
just drop a name and then go
in
home.
terms of, I just think, in terms of, it's just, I think he's very witty in how he does everything. It's like he can
Yeah.
literally, Peter Kay's one of those comedians I literally think he can take the piss out of anything.
Do you like Peter Kay's stand up and his
Both, yeah.
TV
Oh,
work?
TV
Yeah,
series,
both, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Phoenix Nights, that was hilarious. I used to love watching that. I mean, Max and Paddy, I mean, so that was hilarious, Max and Paddy was. And also his most recent one, was Car Share. I've
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
I've not seen
Fantastic.
a lot of that, but what I've seen of it, it's fun. It's very funny, and I need to watch it, to be honest with you. But his stand-up as well was just, some of the videos I've seen of him was just so, it's so witty.
It's observational comedy. It's very much like
Yeah.
Billy Connolly,
Mm.
where it's just normal topics, normal subjects, but he manages to make them
Yeah.
so hilarious.
It's the relatable comedy,
Yeah.
isn't it? That like you laugh at something because you're like, oh yeah, shit, I've seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
happened to me. I get it. Yeah.
Sort of like what we try and bring to podcasts.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
be
his
honest.
famous one is garlic
Tough
bread
choice.
and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
we've
I mean-
been there, haven't we? You know,
Yeah, I mean,
cheese and cake.
yeah, it's like the one
Les
for
Cadbury's
me.
Fingerette.
It's like he's taking the mick out of Secret Millionaire, and I burst out crying on the floor every time he's taking the mick out of that because it's just so funny.
He's come out with some sketches and some jokes that have become popular culture themselves, haven't they?
Mm.
Like when you get into a taxi
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
can't not ask him,
Oh.
time you on till,
Yeah.
you know, been busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't help yourself.
And the other one I always find myself doing, and every time I think of Peter Kay, is every time I ask somebody if they want a brew, and I go,
Oh yeah, you do the hand motion.
right? And I
Yeah,
can't help it. I do it every single time, and it's become
Yeah.
it's become part of the public consciousness. Some
Yeah,
of Peter
yeah.
Kay's sketches have.
Yeah.
Brilliant, absolutely
Yeah.
love that
I
one.
mean, the one for me. I mean, I always remember this. I was in Aldi and I went to Venice actually a few years back, and it was boiling hot. And I couldn't help but think of the Peter Kay sketch when he goes, "Oh,
I
I
like it."
British, I like it warm, but I don't like it this one. Oh,
Yeah. It's
I'm
too
s-
hot for
oh,
me.
I'm sweating cubs.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
and he's like,
But this is what it's
and,
relatable.
and he's like, "Good, shut the fuck up and have a Solero." You know what I mean? And I just, yeah, Peter Kay.
Peter
for
Kay
me.
is a genius.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that one.
I'd have to agree.
And Liam,
Oh, for me, I do think Peter Kay is hard to beat, to be honest. But up there, I'd put Lee Evans up there, to be honest.
I've not seen
early
much of
Lee
Lee
Evans
Yes.
is
Early Evans.
unbelievable.
He got to 2005, which was the XL tour, and then everything after that was
Yeah,
shit.
early 2000s Lee Evans
Yeah,
and late
yeah.
90s Lee Evans.
Yeah.
He was
Mm.
absolutely
Yeah,
fantastic.
no, I agree.
Just the fact that he sweated so much was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was
They
fantastic.
took piss out of himself. Like I think they refer him to himself as like Monkey Boy. I think it were. and
Yeah,
stuff
he-
like that. And it's
He
just,
used to do a sketch with Pedro, the Spanish bus driver, and the holiday rep called
Oh,
Sharon.
Yeah,
Her name was Sharon.
Hey.
And that used to kill me. But the man was a genius. He was in several films, in something about Mary as well.
Yeah,
You remember
Mouse
he was
Hunt
brilliant in that. Very, very talented guy, Lee Evans.
Definitely.
Don't hear so much from him these days, but
No, I think he's retired, Anthony.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah.
I think he retired about 2018, 19.
right,
but
that'll be
he's,
why I haven't heard much
That's
from
probably
him. then.
why, yeah. But no, I
think-
thought it was fantastic, and like just jokes like about his dogs and things like
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
it's like similar to Peter Kay. It's relatable comedy.
I think for me, I have to split mine because I believe that comedy is stand-up comedy and then TV comedy, TV or film comedy. I think the two are different. Some people are great at both.
Yeah.
Some people aren't. My favourite stand-up is Peter Kay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to agree with you there.
Yeah.
No debate
I've
there.
actually worked for Peter Kay as well. Would you?
Oh,
would you?
what?
Really?
Would you believe? Yeah,
That's
at
ace.
Manchester Arena. And we're getting a little bit of a anger management podcast sound through
I've
there.
had to say that was.
That's
weird.
all right. That won't be there on the final version, so don't worry about
I've
that.
had to say, that's a bit
So,
odd.
Peter Kay for me is definitely my number one stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
I love
tough
him.
beat.
Yeah.
I've read his book as well, which had me in hysterics. His book's
I
amazing.
still need to read.
Right. My favourite as regards TV is Ricky Gervais.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's tough beat. I mean, Afterlife was just
Ricky
something.
Gervais has never made anything on TV that hasn't been absolutely fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that some people don't get the mockumentary kind of humour, and that's fine if you don't like that, but I do.
Yeah.
I love
yeah.
it. And ever since the first episode of the original Office, everything he's done has been absolute gold. The Office was great. Even the American Office was
Yeah.
good till he stopped being part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last few series were a bit ropey, but the early American Office was great when he was still producing it. Extras is unbelievable. Extras is hilariously funny. Life's Too Short, right, with Warwick Davis.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
that's got one of the funniest scenes I've ever witnessed in a program when Warwick gets stuck in the dog flap. It's pure genius. When him and Steve Merchant at their office, they have the doorbell raised so Warwick can't reach the doorbell anymore. Right? Hilariously funny. Derek. I don't know if you've seen Derek.
Yeah.
Derek is, and that was a risky move because he's playing somebody with learning difficulties in that. And pulls it off brilliantly. It's a wonderful program. Everything he's done with Carl Pilkington.
Oh, the podcast he did.
Well, the
Steve
original
Merchant.
podcast, the Ricky Gervais show, was with Carl Pilkington. Obviously, with Steve Merchant, his writing partner. Everything that Carl Pilkington's has been fantastic. Idiot Abroad. He also was in Derek as well, if you remember.
Oh yeah.
He's never ever made anything TV related that hasn't been fantastic.
No,
you're right.
But
definitely.
I think his stand-up shit.
Ah, right, okay.
The only bit of stand-up I've seen him do, which I actually like, is when he's hosted, was it the Oscars or whatever?
Oh, when he would just
Academy
He just
Awards.
roast people.
Roast
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
just gives them a load of shit for being muppets, basically. And I like that. But his stand-up, his actual stand-up, not much for it. He made the David Brent film, Life on the Road, a few years ago. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I've heard of it.
Oh, it's amazing. It's genius, pure genius. So for me, those are my two. I mean, obviously they're my era, aren't we? Again, it's like picking your favourite footballer, isn't it? It's always gonna be era dependent. But for me, it's Ricky Gervais regarding TV and film, and it's I just think he's unbeatable. Regarding
You know what?
that.
I think they're all pretty strong contenders.
Yeah,
All four of them, to be honest.
Definitely. Before we finish, we're gonna have a little refresh on our Graham polls for the week. Liam,
Yes.
can you remember what they are this time?
God.
Okay, I'll get it.
You
now.
worded the first one much better than I did.
Okay, so we'll go for the chippy first,
Okay.
right? So this is a very, very simple one. It's a nice light-hearted one for all you listeners. Quite simply, when you have a chippy, do you eat it out the wrappers, out the papers, or do you put it on a plate? In the studio, we've gone 2-1 here.
Yeah.
Papers.
Liam and Joe have gone for papers, and I've gone for plate.
Yeah.
Just stick it in your gob. That's what I say.
There you go. There you go.
So let us know what you think. about that one. And the more serious one that we had was.
More serious.
Well, it's not really serious.
It's not
It's
really
more
serious.
serious than what you eat your chips out
Yeah,
of.
but
Just
Just
tell,
say-
just tell the truth,
So-
folks. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, we're asking for the truth with this one, right? Okay. So, when you see an attractive person walk down the street, do you still have a look even if you're in a relationship? Right? That's
Yeah,
what we want to know.
that's
Do
what we
you have
wanna
a
know.
crafty glance or do you genuinely not bother looking because you're so in love?
I
You will
cannot
not be
know-
grassed up for this. This is completely
Yeah,
confidential.
we haven't got your details
We
on
haven't got your
file. We won't
details,
be
yes.
ringing
Yeah.
your missus up or your husband up
If you
or
want to
anything
send us
like
a
that.
private message, of course, by all
This will
means.
not be used as blackmail or extortion. Don't worry about it.
Why are you crossing your fingers, Joe?
So that's just about it, guys, for the Anger Management Podcast Season 2, Episode 4. I'm off to start editing this podcast straight
Yeah.
away because I've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Joe, what about yourself, mate?
My
Any plans?
uncle's coming up from down south, so we're having a Ruby Murray tonight, a nice curry.
Nice.
Very
And I
nice.
assume you'll be going home to watch Love Island
No,
then, Liam.
Love Island's finished now. So,
No.
Oh,
I-
you'll be watching
When you
repeats
say
then.
when you say
Highlights.
when you say finished, you mean you finished watching it completely, or the
it's
series?
just- the series is finished.
Oh, right.
okay.
So,
I'm
it's-
sure
Highlights,
you've got reruns though.
You
aren't
got
you?
you got
DVDs.
ITV2 plus one, aren't you?
Yeah,
right?
you
Or
know it. You
ITV4.
know he'll be on it, Joe.
No,
yeah.
I'm off to radio because I'm doing my radio show tonight.
You interviewed somebody from Love Island, aren't
Yeah, that's it. You know it.
Joe,
Anyway,
that was a secret. Why did you have to tell everyone?
that's it, guys.
But no, first of all, sorry, Andy. Thank
oh,
you.
no, hang on.
Thanks, Joe Allen, for coming on to the show.
I've really enjoyed it, and I hope you invite me again.
Yeah, there
I had
you
a
go.
good laugh on that, and I've learnt some very dark secrets
The
about Liam.
real Joe Allen.
The real Joe
Can
Allen.
we get your autograph?
You can
Yeah.
do, yes. Yeah.
I'm just astounded that Liam's got real friends. It kills me every time.
Well, acquaintances.
Well done, mate. Well
Very
done.
famous friends as well.
There you go.
There we go. So you've been listening to me, Andy Stevenson.
Me, Liam Simcox.
And the Joe Allen.
That's
The
it,
Joe
just
Allen.
the
The
Joe
Joe
Allen.
Allen.
There
The
isn't
Joe Allen.
another one.
There's another one. No, I am the proper one. He copied off me.
Just you. We'll be back in a few weeks' time. Unfortunately, I have got to go away to work for a few weeks. I work away, don't I?
Yeah, you
I'm
do, to be
actually
fair.
working at FemFest next week.
Very nice.
Across near Bakewell, I think, somewhere over that
Oh,
way.
it's not too far away.
Make sure you
So
get
not
yourself
too
a
far.
tart. Bakewell
So,
tart.
Bakewell tart.
Get
That's
one of
it.
them.
So
wonder
I'll be
where
over
we're
there,
at
and
then.
I am very, very busy for the next few weeks. So unfortunately, you guys will have to survive without the Anger Management Podcast until the end of September.
Bloody hell.
I know, seems
That's
like
a
a
long
long
time
way
away.
away.
Long,
But
long
I'm
time.
not here. I go on holiday end of September.
Oh, there we go. Then you might be waiting till October, but we'll get it done at
We'll
some
sort
point.
it. We'll fit it in when we can.
So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you on the flip flop.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
See you later.
guys. See you later.
Thank you very
Drop,
much.
you.
drop.